Part 13. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 121. Firecracker. Something for children to play with. During the Chinese New Year, Su Yuntang returned to his hometown and occasionally saw children throwing this stuff on the street. It is worth mentioning that one year when he was returning home, a smart kid threw a firecracker in his face, and the firecracker exploded less than 10 centimeters away from him. From then on, the actor Su had left a shadow and had no good impression of the stuff at all, but who knew that Gu Huiyan would actually start playing with it today? This guy. The boss's man. Are you having fun with firecrackers? This is not some kind of firecracker during the Chinese New Year. Besides, are you serious about frying cow dung? The work that Gu Huiyan did before was disgusting enough, but today, the word disgusting was directly embodied. It's so disgusting. I care about Huiyan and I are inseparable from you, stop. After finally suppressing the turmoil in her stomach, Shang Zuoyan immediately ran towards Gu Huiyan, trying to push Gu Huiyan to the ground and ravage him. Gu Huiyan was running at the beginning. As he was running, he suddenly caught a glimpse of the firecracker in his hand. He was very happy at that time. Did the MD boss have dynamite in his hand? Are the boss worried? I'm warning you not to chase me. If you chase me again. Gu Huiyan lit a firecracker and turned around to throw it at Shang Zuoyan. Ah! Shang Zuoyan screamed in fright, her eyes suddenly widened, and she hurried away. Gu Huiyan's firecracker exploded not far from her, and she became even more angry. She originally wanted to settle the score with Gu Huiyan, but... Hey! Gu Huiyan came towards her with firecrackers. While walking, I lit one. You, what are you doing? Very dangerous. Ah! Don't throw it away. Ah! Reversed. A comeback against the wind. Originally it was Shang Zuoyan seeking revenge from Gu Huiyan, but in the end it was Gu Huiyan pursuing Shang Zuoyan. At the beginning, Shang Zuoyan even wildly cursed Gu Huiyan for being a bastard, and so on. After being bombed, I collapsed and began to beg for mercy. Ah! Oh, don't explode. Isn't it okay that I was wrong? Ah! Ha ha ha. The audience laughed like crazy. Shang Zuoyan was really miserable. She was bullied by Gu Huiyan and was so angry that she couldn't retaliate. It really hurt her to death. Ha ha. After chasing for a long time, Gu Huiyan finished setting off a box of firecrackers and asked Shang Zuoyan with a smile. Are you still chasing me? Look at his bearish look. A look of the villain succeeds. You. The angry Shang Zuoyan could only stamp her feet on the spot. Okay, don't bully her. In the end, it was the mature Sister Xylin who couldn't stand it anymore and stopped Gu Huiyan with a smile. Sister Xylin, are you having fun? Gu Huiyan turned around and handed the firecracker to Xylin and asked. Surrounded by the goddess Xylin, she was a little hesitant, confused about whether to laugh or cry. Did you ask her if she wanted to play? I can't say I want it, and I can't say I don't want it either. She comes from a rural area, and she used to play with this thing with her friends in the village when she was little. There were so many things blown up before, so what hasn't been blown up yet? Watching Huiyan play, she felt nostalgic for her childhood, but... She is Siren. She is a red carpet goddess. This is no longer just a matter of personality and face. She shouldn't play with this kind of thing at her age. Besides, this is true. Too disgusting, right? Thank you. She politely waved her hand and refused. My sister has her own standards. She just applied the plaster. Let's forget about blowing up cow dung with a cannon. Call. The actor Su and some of the audience secretly breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this scene. Fortunately, Xylin didn't play, otherwise they would really collapse. It's hard to imagine the scene where the red carpet goddess Xylan goes to fry cow dung with Gu Huiyan. If that scene really happened, fans' views would be shattered, let alone filters. Gu Huiyan didn't force it, he just wanted to play it for his own fun, and he really didn't expect others to play with him. But don't mention it, Gu Huiyan himself was having a great time. After everyone rested in the afternoon, they all rode horses for a while, but Gu Huiyan, after riding for a while, ran off to set off the firecrackers. The uncle at the racecourse couldn't help but laugh and cry. Who would have thought that a celebrity artist would come to their racecourse and not be interested in horses, but instead be interested in manure? Just like the naughty kid in the village. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan knew how to find a place where no one was. The horses and cattle were not raised in the same place, and they were not too close. Otherwise, if the thing frightened the horses, it would be a big trouble. It is worth mentioning that Shang Xuan was so angry after being bullied by Gu Huiyan that she always wanted to take revenge on him. When Gu Huiyan played with firecrackers, she always wanted to push him into cow dung. Let him taste cow dung on his body. It's a pity that Gu Huiyan is very alert. He can see it every time Shang Xuan passes by. Then Gu Huiyan chases Shang Xuan with firecrackers and bombs them indiscriminately, causing Shang Xuan to scream and beg for mercy. "Hey," I said. In the end, he was helpless, and Gu Huiyan took the initiative to say, "How about we turn our hostility into friendship? How about I invite you to play this?" Gu Huiyan handed the firecrackers in his hand to Shang Xuan. "Well." Shang Xuan pouted her little mouth and rolled her eyes with a resentful expression. "What a beautiful idea you have. Who wants to play with that thing of yours?" At this time, Gu Huiyan stuck another firecracker in the cow dung. He waved to Shang Xuan with a lighter and shouted, come on, have some." Ah! The corners of Shang Xuan's pretty mouth twitched slightly, and she waved her hand. "I don't want it. It's so disgusting." "Come on, it's fun." I don't want it." "That's up to you." Of course Gu Huiyan will not force her. In fact, this thing is indeed a bit evil. Sister Xylan and Shang Xuan are girls who don't want to be normal. This has nothing to do with the baggage and airs of celebrities and idols. You can change to a normal person. He may not understand Gu Huiyan's bad taste. Disgusting. But at the same time, Gu Huiyan was thinking that if Pei Jingshu came, she would be able to order it, right? He. Gu Huiyan shook his head and ordered one without thinking too much. Probably because she was splashed with cow dung at noon, Shang Xuan subconsciously wanted to stay away. Keep going back. Ah! As a result, an accident. The feet seemed to have guessed a lump of sticky stuff. Boom! Just then, Gu Huiyan's firecracker exploded, which overlapped with Shang Xuan's exclamation. Gu Huiyan heard the sound and looked over. Shang Xuan actually stepped on a pile of fresh cow dung with his right foot because he was patronizing and backed away without looking behind him. Puff! Ha ha ha! Why are you so unlucky, you? Ah ha 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 ha, goose. At that time, Gu Huiyan's unscrupulous and gloating laughter filled the entire race course. Ha ha ha. The audience watching the show also laughed like crazy. Everyone said, "No, Shang Xuan, why are you carrying it like this today? Can you step on cow dung?" Ha 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 ha. I feel sorry for Shang Xuan for just 1 second, don't ask why it's only 1 second, because next I will, ah ha 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 ha. Goose. Gu Huiyan laughed so hard that he couldn't even stand up from his crouching position. He was also convinced, why is Shang Xuan carrying it so hard? It's all your fault. You still laugh. Shang Xuan covered her nose, resisting the urge to vomit, and wanted to pull out her foot, but found that it seemed to be stuck and difficult to pull out. She is in a hurry. It's all Gu Huiyan's fault. Why did he blow up the cow dung? Now it's better. The cow dung that stepped on her was gone. The whole foot has not gone in, so there is definitely no way to get these shoes, and it is obvious that this is a pair of shoes that she likes very much. Of course, Shang Zuoyan couldn't care less about her heartache now, she just wanted to pull her foot out quickly. Stop laughing, oh. Come help. Seeing Gu Huiyan smiling there, if it weren't for the baggage of being a female star, she would even have the urge to pick up cow dung and throw it at Gu Huiyan's face. In the end, she compromised and asked Gu Huiyan for help. You, hey. Gu Huiyan smiled as he went over to observe carefully. It is worth mentioning that instead of rushing to help, the old man took out his mobile phone from his pocket and took a few shots at Shang Zuoyan and her feet that had stepped into the cow dung. He even took a selfie using scissor hands. Shang Zuoyan, pen. Gu Huiyan, I'm warning you not to force me to slap you like this here. This sentence was almost squeezed out by Shang Zuoyan through his teeth. Take off your shoes. Gu Huiyan looked at it for a long time and felt that the best way was to give up the shoes. Well. Shang Zuoyan had no choice but to take off her feet from the shoes. He stood on one foot, looking helpless. Hey goose goose. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, but couldn't hold it in anymore. Still laughing. She was so embarrassed and angry that if she didn't know very well that she couldn't pursue Gu Huiyan without her shoes, Shang Zuoyan would definitely fight with him. It's getting late, 4 or 5 o'clock, and everyone is planning to go back. Originally, Gu Huiyan and the others came by car, but Xylin suggested that we all walk back in the evening. The journey was not far anyway, at least 3 to 5 kilometers. Their bodies had almost recovered, so it was time for a walk. Just in time to enjoy the evening at Erhai Lake. The actor Suziran has no objection, Gu Huiyan is very lively and has no objection, but Shang Zuoyan. Well. Little Mustang Shang Zuoyan is very depressed about losing her beloved shoes, and because she can't walk without her shoes, she may not be able to go back with everyone. When Xylin saw this, she originally wanted to be considerate of Shang Zuoyan and let everyone go back by car. At this time, the uncle at the racecourse was considerate and said that she could lend them a horse and let Shang Zuoyan sit on the horse and go back with them. As for the horse, just let Ayao ride it back. They are all relatives in the same village, so there won't be any problems. Upon hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up and they readily agreed. In fact, it was because the uncle at the racecourse saw that Xylin and Su Yuntang were very professional and would not cause any accidents, otherwise he would not trust the horses to them. That's all. Everyone leisurely embarked on the road back to the Crystal Courtyard. It was evening, and it gets dark late in Dali in June. It was still very bright and sunny, and the scenery was beautiful while walking along the Erhai Lake. Occasionally, we could see some deer people, and the atmosphere was quite good. It's just that the actor Su was a little speechless. Why? Because he is holding the horse now. In fact, it was originally his suggestion to walk back. Wouldn't it be a good idea to spend the whole day riding horses and communicating with Xylin? He once felt that the relationship between the two of them was developing rapidly today, so he thought of walking along the Erhai Lake together in the evening. Very romantic and interesting. He liked the tranquility of walking. Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan chattered all day long, so they certainly wouldn't be disturbed. When the time comes, he and Xylin will be paired together, and Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan will be paired together. No one will bother anyone, which is actually quite good. But who knows? Shang Zuoyan suddenly stepped on cow dung. She had no shoes to walk and had to sit on a horse. Among the three of him, Xylin, and Gu Huiyan, he and Xylin were the only ones who knew more about horseback riding. Although leading a horse did not require any technical skills, it could not be led by someone who had not known horses for more than a day. It was just him and Xylin who could lead the horses. The question is, how could he let Siren lead the horse? Then. The scene now is that he is leading the horse, Shang Xuan is sitting on the horse with him, while Xilan and Gu Huiyan are strolling around doing nothing. Occasionally seeing some nice scenery, Gu Huiyan told Xilan lively. His mature sister Xilan always listened with a smile. The two of them walked and chatted, and they felt a little censorious for some reason. The most disgusting thing is that when Su Yuntang looked over occasionally, he felt like he had been stuffed with dog food. Su Yuntang was so angry at that time. Why did Shang Xuan step on cow dung? Otherwise, he should be the one chatting with Xilan now. So does he. Why do you have to mention walking back? This time is good. He worked hard as a horse puller, while Gu Huiyan and Xilan were chatting and laughing. What the hell? It's so disgusting for the actor Su. MD when Xilan took Gu Huiyan horse riding in the morning, it didn't even disgust him so much. Excuse me, cousin Yun. Shang Xuan thanked Su Yuntang as if she was a little embarrassed. In fact, the actor Su wanted to scold me at this moment, but he didn't say it in the end. He just squeezed out a smile and said, "No. It doesn't matter, it should be." At this time, Shang Xuan was sitting on the horse, with one foot wearing a shoe and the other not wearing anything but socks. As for her shoe stained with cow dung, after the staff salvaged it, it somehow ended up in Gu Huiyan's hands. But at this moment, Gu Huiyan found a wooden stick from nowhere, untied the laces of Shang Xuan's shoes and tied them to the wooden stick. He hung the wooden stick on his shoulders and carried it like a gangster. Shang Xuan walked with shoes stained with cow dung. Very disgusting. It's a shame that Xilan can still chat with him for days. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x3. His appearance made some viewers laugh, and everyone said that this was a tasteful video, and Gu Huiyan was really like no one else. Hey, Shang Xuan. At this moment, Gu Huiyan ran to Shang Xuan, carrying the shoes tied to the stick. What? Shang Xuan pouted her little mouth with a depressed look on her face, which did not give Gu Huiyan a good look. She was so miserable today, everything had to do with Gu Huiyan. This old man has been disgusting himself all day long, grilling sausages, taking pictures, blowing bubbles, frying cow dung, one after another. He needs to be more disgusted. Shang Xuan originally thought that Gu Huiyan was disgusting enough, but who knew that at the next moment? Hey hey hey! Gu Huiyan suddenly smiled with a whooshing smile and then used a wooden stick to pick up Shang Xuan's cow dung stained shoe towards Shang Xuan who was sitting on the horse. Ah! What are you doing? Ah! Gu Huiyan! Help! Sister Xilan, help me! Aha! Everyone in Shang Xuan is numb. This bastard! He. He actually disgusted himself with his own shoes. She is sitting on the horse now, unable to hide. What is he doing? Ahaha! I don't know if he was having fun today, but Gu Huiyan was acting like a naughty child at the moment. Of course, he wouldn't really put the cow dung stained shoes on Shang Xuan. He always kept some distance, just to tease Shang Xuan. He. The mature sister Xilan looked on, laughing. Under the sunlight, Gu Huiyan's skin was a little dark, and the sunscreen he applied before going out in the morning was long gone. His smile was really happy and carefree. At that moment, Xilan was thinking that it would be nice if she could always be like this. Gu Huiyan was indeed a bit evil, but he did contribute countless jokes to everyone. On the contrary, the actor Su, the movie star Su Ben, who was holding the horse, was so full that he didn't know where to vomit. Gu Huiyan was dangling behind him with shoes stained with cow dung. Creak. Smelling that disgusting smell, best actor Su's molar teeth almost broke. Okay. Hey, Gu Huiyan, you are really. Are you still human? Gu Huiyan. Even the audience couldn't do anything about him. Yes, some people did say he was disgusting, but I have to say, this kid is really happy. People nowadays have a lot of pressure in their lives and it is fun to watch programs. However, many of the celebrities and entertainers in the programs also laugh awkwardly. They are not happy themselves and are pretending to be happy. How can they make others happy? People say that laughter is contagious. When you are happy and joyful from the bottom of your heart, the corners of the audience's mouths will turn up unconsciously when they see you laughing. You are like Gu Huiyan now. The things he does are really evil. It would be too much to ask someone else to kill him. He has to be wildly condemned by the fairies for being a shrimp-headed man. But no matter who is watching Crystal Love Season at this time, it seems that any audience will be infected by Gu Huiyan's laughter from the heart. He is so happy. You don't care whether he has a bad taste, whether he is disgusting, or whether others accept it, he is really happy anyway. But if you step into his perspective, you will find that you will be very happy if you do this. All in all, at this moment, Shang Xuoyan was the only one injured in the world. Just in time. A commercial vehicle passed by. Eh? Isn't that them? In the car, the assistant pointed in the direction of Gu Huiyan and the others. In the back seat of the car, Pei Jingshu, a cold white-skinned beauty who had just returned from work, heard the news. She wasn't sure when she saw Gu Huiyan and the others, but when she saw the program staff and some camera teachers carrying cameras, she immediately patted the driver's seat back with excitement. "Master driver, stop the car, stop quickly." The driver had just slowed down and now he stepped on the brakes. Pei Jingshu was a little excited. Although they had only been away for 4 or 5 days, her heart beat faster at the thought of meeting Gu Huiyan soon. However, when the car stopped and she saw Shang Xuoyan teasing the horse with a shoe stained with cow dung, Gu Huiyan was very happy. The smile on her face suddenly solidified and became stiff. The plot of fried cow dung is a foreshadowing, so don't rush to criticize it. You will also criticize the people in the book. They are all normal people. All I can say is to read it slowly. I think you will like this plot. Speaking of which, I really appreciate your concern, otherwise this climax might not have been that exciting. In addition, Sister Pei is back in the next chapter. How do you think she will send her heartwarming message tonight? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 122. What happened? Pei Jingshu's agent sister, Pei Ya, was sleeping in the car. She has been crazy busy in the past few days. Originally, their work schedule was not so tight, but Pei Jingshu was eager to return home. She always wanted to hurry up. Coming back from work? Originally, catching 2 announcements a day would kill her, but she always wanted to catch 3 as much as possible. If she couldn't catch 3, it would be better to catch an extra group of shoots. According to their arrangement, it would have taken more than 5 days to come back, but now it was shortened by more than 1 day, and they came back in the afternoon of the 4th day. I have been really exhausted these past few days. I slept on the plane for 2 nights. Last night, I was so angry with Pei Jingshu's love brain that she stayed up most of the night. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Most of the night she sat up and muttered depressedly. No, shouldn't she have a CT scan of her brain? It took a lot of effort to communicate with various tasks in the past few days. Pei Ya really took the opportunity to rest in the car, not paying attention to what was happening outside. Why did you stop suddenly? It's teacher Xiaogu and the others, he. The assistant subconsciously wanted to answer Pei Ya's words, but found that Pei Jingshu looked back at her and frowned at her. The assistant immediately understood what Pei Jingshu meant and closed her mouth. No. Nothing. The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu also waved her hands and said. I just wanted to stop and take a look when I saw the beautiful scenery. After saying that, She quickly patted the back of the driver's seat and said, "When you've finished reading, you can go, master." A series of actions were performed smoothly, and it was easy to see that she did not want her sister to see Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan. Pei Ya frowned, always feeling something strange. Even though the car had already left, she couldn't help but glance in the direction of High Lake. Is that them? From a distance, she saw some program staff surrounding a few people as if they were filming something. No. Pei Jingxia shook her head, pursed her lips slightly, and said, "I thought it was just now, so I asked the driver to stop the car, but it seemed to be another program. There are many people who come to Yunnan to shoot scenes and record programs. Both the prices and the rent here are relatively cheap. The key is that the scenery is good and it is very cost-effective." I didn't say who it was. The car had already gone some distance. Gu Huiyan and the others were surrounded by staff and various camera teachers. From this angle, Pei Ya could no longer see them clearly. But she knows Pei Jingshu. In the past, Pei Jingshu didn't talk much. She seemed to want to stop and take a look at something beautiful when she saw it. She could just look at it and she wouldn't explain it at all. Look. With just one word from her, Pei Jingshu was tricked. At this moment, Pei Jingshu's eyes were a little evasive when facing her, and there was something wrong at first glance. You really can't lie. Pei Ya held her forehead in silence, wondering what Pei Jingshu had seen, and why she looked like she didn't want her to find out. Pei Jingshu didn't explain, but just stared out the window in silence for a while. Her face is still so punchable, every facial feature is very delicate, and when combined together, it fully exerts the effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2. Looking from the side, her face is three-dimensional and protruding, with an almost perfect head-to-neck ratio, and the water-like tenderness of a Jiangnan woman is vividly displayed on her face. A pair of watery eyes were staring out the window. She didn't know what she was thinking. She was probably a little uneasy. When Gu Huiyan and the others returned to Yongzi village, it was already very late, almost 6 o'clock, and the sky in the distance gradually turned a layer of orange-red. When he arrived at the entrance of the village, Gu Huiyan took out his cell phone, looked at it a few times, and said, "You guys, please go back first, I have something to do." As soon as this was said, everyone had questions on their faces. Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but ask, "What time is it? What are you doing?" At this point, she paused, and then, as if she thought of something, she pointed at Gu Huiyan and said, "Do you want to eat secretly, Gu Huiyan?" Gu Huiyan. Aim. What else can you think about besides eating all day long? Gu Huiyan couldn't help but pick Shang Zuoyan's shoe stained with cow dung again and pick it on her. "Ah! Get out of here! Ah, I was wrong, ah, go away! Go away quickly!" Shang Zuoyan started crying like a ghost and howling like a wolf again. He. The mature sister Xylan came over to break up the fight with a smile, and casually asked Gu Huiyan, "Is something wrong?" It was already time to have dinner. Gu Huiyan should tell him where he was going, otherwise they would be worried. In response, Gu Huiyan replied quite calmly, "Oh, I'll go to the rookie station on the east side of the village to pick up a courier." As soon as these words came out, there was a moment of silence. Everyone was confused and looked at him strangely. The barrage also went viral, with countless netizens saying, "Pht, brother, you're here to record a show and you're also shopping online. Have you ever seen any celebrity artist who appears on a show and buys express delivery? Ha ha ha, it's really what you, Gu Huiyan, can do. I'm more curious about what he bought." Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x5. When celebrities record shows, most of them look glamorous and basically don't lack anything. Even if they lack something, they usually ask their assistants to run errands to buy it. In the history of variety shows, few celebrities who went to record a show purchased online and had their products delivered by courier to the recording site. This guy Gu Huiyan is the first of his kind. Speaking of which, it may be that celebrities and entertainers have established their own image too high these days, so it is almost difficult for everyone to associate something quite civilian like express delivery with celebrities and entertainers. They may also use express delivery and receive express delivery, but they rarely mention express delivery, and they almost never go to Kaniao station to get express delivery. Just ask, when have you ever heard words like "I'm going to Rookie Station to pick up a courier" from a celebrity artist? When hearing this sentence from Gu Huiyan's mouth, everyone felt an inexplicable contrast, but also inexplicably familiar and close. This kid's daily life seems to be no different from theirs. You, Gu Huiyan, you. Shang Zuoyan opened her mouth, but nothing came out for a long time. She was a little confused and didn't know what to say. The same goes for actor Su. He usually doesn't do much online shopping. He doesn't usually take express delivery unless there is a big need. Even if he sends express delivery, it is delivered by Shunfeng door to door. He has never been to Kaniao station. The mature sister Xylin has been there, but she also asked the assistant to get out of the car and help pick it up. Most of the time, the assistant helped get it home. It's not that they don't want to go, it's that with their status and traffic, they can easily attract onlookers wherever they go, and it's not troublesome enough to sign autographs and take photos. When they heard the words "go to Kaniao station to get the express delivery" from Gu Huiyan, they would naturally find it very contrasting and novel. What did you buy? The mature sister Xylin smiled softly and asked. Let's talk about some food when we get back. I'll go first. Gu Huiyan didn't notice anything was wrong. Seeing that it was getting late, he said hello and ran away. Usually the Rookie Inn closed at 6 o'clock. It was almost 5:50 now, and he didn't know if it was closed after he passed there. Looking at Gu Huiyan's running back in the sunset, Xylin, Su Yuntang and Shang Zuoyan looked at each other, not knowing what to say for a moment. Although they had never thought about coming to record a show to buy express delivery, it was really his Gu Huiyan style. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan's camera teacher was running and cursing madly in his heart. Why is Gu Huiyan's grandson, Zhe, always running like crazy while recording a slow-paced life romance series? Gu Huiyan ran very fast, and when he arrived at the place, the Rookie station was about to close. If he was a little slower, he would not be able to pick up the express delivery. In the program screen, Gu Huiyan was seen walking on the stone road in the village carrying a small box in both hands. Because going horse riding today was no longer the usual big pants and flip-flops, but I don't know why he looked like it, just seems silly. At this time, the barrage slowly floated by. Xiaogu, go back quickly, there is a surprise. Sister Pei. My dear Sister Pei. You are finally back. I just finished watching Singer of the Times. Sister Pei is still me, Sister Pei. Do you think I am the best in the competition? Pei Ban takes care of CP Chong Chong Chong. At this time, in the Crystal Courtyard, Pei Jingshu arrived first. The assistant and agent sister were helping to pack the luggage upstairs. She was sitting at the bar of the restaurant, waiting for everyone to come back. Today, Pei Jingshu, the beauty with cool fair skin, wore a French retro-style dress. The slim-fitting waist style fully highlighted her slender and beautiful figure. The surface of the skirt has a light blue pattern, which matches her temperament very well, and the tenderness of a slender Jiangnan woman comes to her face. The sling is tied around the neck, the bony collarbone is exposed casually, and a milky white coat is worn outside, giving an inexplicable feeling of pure desire to the ceiling. After all, it is Pei Jingshu, the goddess of domestic entertainment, whose appearance, figure, temperament, are not inferior to others in everything. She is like the white moonlight that all boys dream of. She just sits there and doesn't need to do anything to make her wolf friends cry and howl. Look. Sister Pei. Wife. Gu Huiyan, my wife. Hitui. Nanya deserves it. Ah. But now, when the camera was shown to her, the barrage went crazy, and she could not wait to see the rhythm of the screen. Pei Jingshu, a woman, seems to be using practical actions to describe what it means. The face is in the country. All viewers probably welcome Pei Jingshu back, especially the CP fans of Pei Ban take care of. In the past few days since she left, God knows how hard Pei Ban takes care of CP has been suppressed. One moment, it's the cheap android CP clamoring to take advantage of the situation, and the next moment, the wanting CP who is hiding behind his back and trying to thrive suddenly pops up to steal the house. It's so disgusting. When Sister Pei is here, who among the other CPs do you think can hold their heads high? As soon as she left, well, every one of them didn't know how much their little sister had, and they all jumped up and down. Now, as soon as Pei Jingshu returns and just one shot is given to her, the fans of Pei Ban takes care of CP are already excited. In this battle, with Sister Pei in charge, they will win. Everyone is a little Karami, a younger brother. Compared with CP fans, Wei fans really don't want Pei Jingshu to come back. Their sister Pei, who is focusing on her career, is very good. She won the first place in the Time Singer competition last week, and her development momentum is in full swing. This time, what are the benefits of binding a CP with an old 6? He, Gulalu, is worthy of him. Hitui. The audience, fans, and even the program team were very happy to see Pei Jingshu, but apart from Wei fans, there were actually people who were not so happy to see Pei Jingshu. Just like Shang Zuoyan and Xylin. In fact, I had a lot of fun riding horses today. Xylin and Gu Huiyan rode the same horse. When they came back in the evening, they walked along the Erhai Lake and talked a lot. It felt quite romantic and happy. Although I chased and fought with Gu Huiyan all day long, he was even covered in cow dung by Gu Huiyan. He even stepped in cow dung and was forced to ride back on a horse. He ate a bubble gum and was slapped off by the stinky bastard. A lot, but... Well, Shang Zuoyan admitted that she wanted to stab Gu Huiyan to death when she mentioned it, but she also felt that they were getting more and more familiar and closer. Fighting is not a good way to get close. Whether it was Shang Zuoyan or Xylin, they were quite happy to get along with Gu Huiyan in the past few days after Pei Jingshu left. Although it was only 2 nights, both women also received heartwarming messages from Gu Huiyan. Everything was going well, and they felt like they had a chance. But at this moment, Pei Jingshu is back. God knows how Xylin and Shang Zuoyan, who were quite happy after playing for a day, felt in their hearts when they saw Pei Jingshu sitting at the bar. I won't be happy all of a sudden. Pei Jingshu really didn't have to do anything, she just sat there, feeling full of oppression. To be honest. Before Pei Jingshu came back, Xylin and Shang Zuoyan probably felt that they and Gu Huiyan were already quite familiar with each other after a few days of interaction. It didn't matter even if Pei Jingshu came back, they had to get along with each other how they should. After Pei Jingshu left for a few days, everything changed. Her world was no longer taken care of by Pei Ban. But when Pei Jingshu came back and sat there, she didn't say anything, didn't do anything, and they already had a sense of déjà vu. Women know who a man likes, and they know it, so they will naturally have a sense of urgency. And seeing this scene, Shura Field. Some Shiuer start making trouble from the comment area. It's amazing, I just love famous scenes like this. The heroine went out to work for a while and came back to find that her husband was entangled by several female goblins. From then on, she embarked on the road of revenge. I have already imagined a novel in my mind, okay. It's very strange. Why does it feel like other CPS are no longer competitive as soon as Sister Pei comes back? Me too. Why do you look at me like this? Pei Jingshu was carrying a cup of coffee in her hand. She bought it on the way here. She was a little tired these days. Even though she didn't say it, her body didn't lie. Pei Jingshu was still a little surprised when she saw Shang Zuoyan and Xilan standing there in a daze without speaking after seeing her. She even wondered if there was something on her face. Why was she always looking at her like this? Oh no. It's nothing. The mature sister Xilan reacted quite quickly. She smiled and said, Jingshu came back so quickly. I thought you would be busy for a few more days. Sister Xilan opened her mouth, and Shang Zuoyan quickly reacted. She smiled helplessly. I won't welcome you just yet. I'll go upstairs to find a pair of shoes to wear. She only wore one pair of shoes on 2 feet, and one foot was bare with only a sock. Oh yes, her shoe that was stained with cow dung was also brought back and was thrown away by the staff. It shouldn't be washed or anything, it should just be thrown away. How did you get the shoes? Pei Jingshu gently put down her coffee and asked calmly. On the way, she saw Gu Huiyan teasing Shang Zuoyan with this shoe, and she was naturally curious. It's not all Gu Huiyan's fault. Speaking of Gu Huiyan, Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but pout her little mouth, and said to Pei Jingshu fiercely. Give me a knife and I will kill him when he comes back. Along the way, Gu Huiyanjing bullied her with her cow dung stained shoes and disgusted her. She had long wanted to kill this guy. Seeing how angry she was, Pei Jingshu was a little confused, but she always felt that the relationship between Shang Zuoyan and Gu Huiyan seemed to be better than before she left. Become more familiar with each other. You can say this when he is not around. For a moment, Pei Jingshu's eyes looked a little lonely. He went to get the express delivery and should be back soon. The mature sister Xilan smiled softly, said hello and prepared to go upstairs. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu heard her casually say to the staff when she went upstairs. Do you still have the plaster that Xiaogu bought that day? Give me one. My feet are still a little uncomfortable. Listen to this. I don't know why, but Pei Jingshu feels a little uncomfortable in her heart. It feels like I have only been away for 3 or 4 days, but I seem to have missed a lot of things. And it seems that Xilan and Shang Zuoyan don't welcome her back very much. It is worth mentioning that the actor Su who came in after tying the horse was very enthusiastic when he saw her. He smiled and said he welcomed Jingshu back. Xiaogu went to get the express delivery. Maybe it is a gift for you. This made Pei Jingshu feel a little relieved. In fact, she doesn't seem to care much about Xilan, Shang Zuoyan, and Su Yuntang's attitude toward her. None of the colleagues in this circle have any real feelings, they are just polite when meeting, and she is used to it whether they are bad or bad. All she cared about was Gu Huiyan. She wondered if Gu Huiyan's attitude towards her would change after 3 or 4 days away. Will he neglect himself because he is more familiar with Sister Xilan and Shang Zuoyan? She is always worried about gains and losses. And just at this time, there was a sound of footsteps outside the door. But he saw Gu Huiyan walking in from the door with a box in his arms. The box was not big, but it required his hands to hold it. There were a few pieces on top of the box. Ice cream. They are not expensive types, only 3 to 5 yuan a piece at most. He still had one in his mouth. There was sweat on his forehead and he looked carefree, just like Pei Jingshu's impression of Gu Huiyan. When he saw Pei Jingshu standing in the middle of the yard, Gu Huiyan's eyes lit up. He held the bottom of the box with one hand, took out the other hand to remove the ice cream from his mouth, and said in surprise with his free mouth. When did you come back? At this time, Gu Huiyan may not be wearing the same big pants and flip-flops as usual, but he is holding a courier box that is not clean and dusty, a half-eaten ice cream in his hand, and there is still something on the side of his mouth. Some chocolate residue. Both the image and the feeling are exactly the same as what Pei Jingshu remembered. Silly, silly. After 3 or 4 days, she was worrying about gains and losses. After coming here, she felt that everything had changed, but after seeing Gu Huiyan. But for a moment, I felt that nothing had changed. Eyes couldn't deceive anyone, the way he looked at him was still as sincere as before. This made her tense heart suddenly relax. She smiled softly. Just arrived. The wind came and blew the hem of Pei Jingshu's skirt. She happened to have a tissue in her hand. After a slight hesitation, she stepped forward and raised her hand to wipe away the traces of ice cream on Gu Huiyan's mouth. At that moment, she was as tender as water. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 123. Gu Huiyan is quite tall and has eaten well since he was a child. He is over 1.8 meters tall. Pei Jingshu is tall, about 1.7 meters tall, so she doesn't need to tiptoe when wiping Gu Huiyan's mouth. There is no obvious height difference between the two people, which is why they look so well matched when standing together. In fact, one of the funniest things about couples in the world is the cutest height difference. One is taller and the other is shorter, just like a father and daughter or a mother and son. If you want to kiss or something, you might have to hug the other person or bend down completely to get it. If you look at Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, they are both tall. If Pei Jingshu wanted to kiss Gu Huiyan, it would be as simple as standing on tiptoes. Gu Huiyan wanted to kiss Pei Jingshu, but he just tilted his head slightly and kissed her. This height is very harmonious. Even if they appear together on the camera screen and in the same frame, they still give people a feeling of a good match. Speaking of which, the height mismatch is really a flaw. In the past, in some productions, the male actor was tall and the female actor was short. When the two acted in the same frame, in order to coordinate with each other, the male actor usually wore a ponytail or a female actor. The actor stepped on a box, which looked funny on the spot. It's really good that they don't act when they are acting themselves. Wow! At this moment, when the scene of Pei Jingshu wiping Gu Huiyan's mouth appeared in the scene of Crystal Love Season, the audience couldn't sit still. The barrage is blasting. Ah! So sweet. Are you two going to sprinkle sweets as soon as you get back? Pei Ban takes care of CP to get to Dayfen. Everything else will die for me. Come on, Android CP's gang will come out to play again. If you have the ability, come again. It is undeniable that Pei Jingshu's move was indeed quite bold, and even Gu Huiyan did not expect it. From Gu Huiyan's perspective, he could just see Pei Jingshu stretching out her hands, raising her head, and placing her hands on his mouth. It was as if he had been tapped on his acupuncture points, and he didn't dare to move. All right. Seeing his dazed look, Pei Jingshu couldn't help but smile. She raised a jade hand and gently covered her lips. Her arms were horizontal, slender, and skinny, with fair skin. The cuffs of the skirt were very well designed, which made Pei Jingshu look good. Just like a lady. The eyes she stared at Gu Huiyan were full of smiles. When she smiled, her eyes were crescent like two crescents. The white moonlight nicknamed by Pei Jingshuren is really not a boast. She is really pure and pure. God knows how excited she will make people when she stares at Xian and smiles. Cough. Gu Huiyan blushed and the ice cream in his hand melted a little. He quickly picked it up and took a sip. Then he handed the ice cream on the box in his hand to Pei Jingshu and said, "Do you want to eat?" Pei Jingshu waved her hand gently, raised her head slightly, and moved her long black hair. "I'm not suitable for eating cold food these 2 days," she said. Ah! Gu Huiyan didn't react at first. Oh! He quickly understood and nodded, saying, I understand, we all have those days. What do you know? Pei Jingshu was stunned for a moment, then she stopped laughing and said, I've been busy working these past 2 days and haven't eaten much. My stomach feels uncomfortable and it's not suitable for me to eat something cold. Ah, Gu Huiyan scratched his head. What do you think it is? Next to him was Pei Jingshu, who couldn't help but raise her jade hand and pat Gu Huiyan lightly. I thought it was that, you were full. Gu Huiyan laughed. The two people who had just met seemed to have endless things to say, but they also felt strange, like they haven't seen each other in a long time. He didn't know where to start or how to say it. They look so stupid. Some viewers could see that my aunt was laughing. In fact, falling in love is silly, it makes people look silly, look at each other, giggle, speak incoherently, and feel at a loss. To be honest, despite Pei Jingshu's absence these days, Android CP and Looking to the West CP have gained a lot of points, but everyone can also get this sweet feeling from Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu. See. Sister Pei Baiyueguang and Gu Lilu are silly and naive. It's more like they are in love when they are together. So at this moment, Pei Ban takes care of CP, once again takes up the banner and arouses the desire of all CP fans. They are so sweet. Just when everyone was busy making sweets, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu didn't know where to start. Gu Huiyan. From the second floor of the female guest's residence, a roar from the little wild horse Shang Zuoyan suddenly came. How dare you come back? Shang Zuoyan was holding a newly replaced shoe in her hand, raising it high, and pointed an index finger at Gu Huiyan with her other hand. She stared angrily and shouted, Pei Jingshu, stay away, don't hit you. Ah. Pei Jingshu looked at Shang Zuoyan strangely. Why, they were about to start a fight while chatting. Even so, she still avoided it honestly. It looked like Shang Zuoyan really wanted to hit someone. Are you really hiding? At that time, Gu Huiyan looked at Pei Jingshu with a look that was doubtful about life. To be precise, he was a little desperate. He thought that Pei Jingshu would protect him. Ha ha ha. The audience laughed like crazy, and the barrage was like husband and wife are like birds in the same forest, and they fly separately when disaster strikes. Shouldn't I hide? The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu was confused and asked with a wry smile. You. Gu Huiyan was just about to say something when he heard the sound of breaking wind. Walk. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan had quick eyes and hands and quickly lowered his head and bent down. The shoe thrown by Shang Zuoyan from the second floor rubbed his back. You really threw it away, Shang Zuoyan? Gu Huiyan stared on the spot, looking at Shang Zuoyan in disbelief. Then what else? Shang Zuoyan roared. You kid have forgotten how you disgusted me along the way, haven't you? On the way, Gu Huiyan, the bastard, used a branch to hang her shoes that were filled with cow dung and picked them on her. And she was bullied crazily by Gu Huiyan because she didn't dare to move while sitting on the horse. Yes, she was forced to beg for mercy on the way. But after she came back, she made Gu Huiyan pay the price no matter what. On this day, this old six was disgusting and she was completely disgusted. Not only on the road, but at the racecourse, they also used firecrackers to blast her. Totally inappropriate. When he was at the racecourse, he had firecrackers, and on the way back he had shoes stained with cow dung, but now he has nothing to worry about Huiyan. If Shang Zuoyan doesn't take revenge now, when will he wait? Okay, don't regret it. Gu Huiyan gritted his teeth, temporarily put the box and ice cream in his hand aside on the ground, then casually picked up the shoe that Shang Zuoyan threw over, and threw it back towards the second floor. Ah! Shang Zuoyan screamed and quickly shrank her head, never having thought that Gu Huiyan would do this with her. You're finished, Gu Huiyan. If you can, don't run away. Wait until I get down. She wasn't stupid. Instead of throwing the shoes back, she ran downstairs chirping, trying to fight Gu Huiyan. As a result, Gu Huiyan ran to the kitchen and grabbed the knife first, forcing Shang Xuoyan to retreat again. Shang Xuoyan hates her so much that her teeth itch. The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu stood aside and witnessed this good show with her own eyes. Although she thought it was quite fun, she also found that Gu Huiyan and Shang Xuoyan seemed to be getting more and more familiar with each other. You can make jokes like throwing shoes, but you're still not acquainted? Their familiarity and closeness gave Pei Jingshu an inexplicable sense of crisis. Not long after, the mature sister Xylin and the actor Su both changed their clothes and came down. What did you buy by express delivery? The mature sister Xylin changed into a very simple white home dress. Maybe because she didn't want to do her hair, she found a hairpin to tie her big waves at the back of her head. It is worth mentioning that my sister's hairline is quite perfect, with no signs of receding at all, and her hair volume is quite amazing. Oh, I almost forgot. Gu Huiyan was so busy fooling around with Shang Xuoyan that he even forgot about the items in the express delivery. He hurriedly carried the express box and ran to the kitchen refrigerator, then found a pair of scissors from the kitchen utensils, removed the tape on the carton, and then a large package of loose, round, white, dough-like things was taken out from it. What is this? Shang Xuoyan has changed into cute little slippers. It is worth mentioning that this scheming girl also specially added a pair of striped stockings with various colors for herself. Xylin, Su Yuntang, and Pei Jingshu were also confused. You don't know this, Gu Huiyan was still puzzled. Everyone looked at each other and shook their heads, obviously not knowing what Gu Huiyan bought. They do not know. The audience is quite knowledgeable. 666. The barrage went viral, and netizens expressed. As expected of you, brother Gu, I thought you bought something good. When I was at home during the winter vacation, my mother would bake one for me a day, but don't tell me, I never get tired of eating these. Okay, it's breakfast again. You can always trust my brother Gu's breakfast. Shang Xuoyan, you are so lucky to follow me, brother Gu. No, what on earth is this? I've never eaten it. Can someone explain to me what on earth is this? He, pancake fruit. Bah, bah, bah. The man upstairs is lying to you. Don't listen to him. This is clearly Lao Ba's secret hamburger. Ha. Handcake. What was inside the small box that Gu Huiyan bought was none other than the crust of that kind of instant, semi-finished handcake. This thing is sold everywhere on the internet. It is mainly eaten for breakfast. It is very convenient. You can throw it in an electric pan and heat it slightly until both sides are golden brown and you can eat it. If you fry it without adding anything, it will be crispy and delicious in itself. If you are more particular and want to put something on it, you can make it as a pancake fruit, crack an egg, sprinkle some sesame seeds, roll it over with some lettuce, ham, and so on. All in all, it is a modern and very convenient food, and almost every household has something to eat. Most people just buy dozens of these and store them in the refrigerator. When they want to eat, they can just take them out and process them. It's very convenient and practical. It is actually similar to instant noodles. The handcakes sold at stalls outside actually use this kind of cake crust. They use the same raw materials and the processing steps are not complicated. The key is that they are cheap. The average price of a certain item on a certain store is 2 yuan, which is considered expensive. Just now, everyone was wondering what Gu Huiyan bought. After a long time of fussing, it turned out to be some kind of handcake. This really made the audience happy. It was indeed Gu Huiyan. This thing really looked like something he, Gu Huiyan, would buy. Having said that, everyone admired him. So far, this guy has done really well. Bring the same thing. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x5. Speaking of which, everyone was wondering, Let's just say how afraid this guy was of being hungry in the morning when he came to record Crystal Love Season. Needless to say why Gu Huiyan bought this thing, it must be for breakfast. By the way, this kid prepares breakfast for himself every morning. He has made soy pot noodles, braised beef instant noodles, and pancakes for so many days. He has never brought the same breakfast. Today he just started grabbing pancakes. What else can this audience say? There is no one left. The audience is still like this. When the guests learned that this was the crust of hand cake, their expressions were quite exciting. Of course they know about hand cakes, but they don't know that the raw materials for hand cakes can be bought and frozen in the refrigerator to make themselves. They are probably all celebrities and entertainers. The reason why these people usually have a strong restraint on themselves is that they basically don't eat pasta for breakfast, let alone the unhealthy pancakes, hand cakes, etc. sold outside. Even if they eat, they usually ask their assistant to buy one from outside. How can they buy the raw materials and make it themselves? The actor Sude cooks by himself, but what he cooks is high-end cuisine. The more complicated it is, the more challenging it is. If you ask him to knead the dough and roll out a cake by himself, he will accept it. If you ask him to throw a piece of this into the electric baking pan, he will accept it. Grab the pie crust. He really couldn't accept it? The ingredients themselves are cheap, the taste is cheap, and even the production process is extremely cheap. How could he possibly come into contact with this thing? Not to mention the rest. You are like Pei Jingshu, whose family conditions make it impossible to be exposed to this kind of thing since childhood. Oh, I remembered. It was Shang Zuoyan. After listening to Gu Huiyan's introduction, she slapped her forehead and said, "My mother seemed to have made this for my brother when I went home during the Chinese New Year. At that time, she had a performance and took time to go home. She controlled her weight very strictly and did not dare to eat, but she had seen it. Mature sister Xylan is relatively new," she said. "Can you bake one and try it?" In the past few years, Xylan has actually been keeping in good health. It's not that she wants to keep in good health, but that she must keep in good health if she wants to be in good condition for being on camera. She rarely appears in variety shows and seldom takes the initiative to participate in exposure other than red carpets. In her free time, she studies various things and often goes to beauty salons. This is why she has the status of a young girl who is still white and glowing at her age. It's true that she doesn't care much about her mouth, but things like hand cakes are really rare. Gu Huiyan said it was fresh, so she wanted to try it. "Let's eat it tomorrow morning." Gu Huiyan shrugged, pointed in the direction of the program team, and said, "They seem to have prepared a big meal. After eating this, you won't have the stomach for anything else." When Gu Huiyan came back just now, he saw that the program team had prepared some nice dinners, as if to welcome Pei Jingshu back. "All right." Xylan smiled softly, actually feeling a little regretful. Her eyes inadvertently glanced at Pei Jingshu not far away. For a moment, Xylan thought, if Pei Jingshu just said that she wanted Gu Huiyan to bake a piece, would Gu Huiyan really help her? Burned one? Thinking of this, she felt a little sour for some reason. After stuffing the finger cakes and ice cream into the refrigerator, Gu Huiyan ran upstairs and took a shower. He went out for a crazy day and fried cow dung in the middle. The smell on his body was definitely not good. He still had a clear idea of his own sex. Not long after he went upstairs, Ayeo, who had just been here yesterday, came here with his younger brother and a few children. Ayeo came to take the horse. The uncle at the racecourse called and said that he had given Su Yuntang and the others a horse and asked Ayeo to take it home and ride it back to the racecourse tomorrow. But his younger brother Xiao won. After he came in with a few friends, he chirped and called for Brother Gu, saying that Brother Gu wanted to sing to them. Sing to listen. When they heard this, everyone was confused. How could Gu Huiyan make such a promise to a child? Ayao was also helpless. He told his brother at home that brother Gu was just joking, but his brother didn't listen and kept saying that brother Gu would not lie to him. I also brought a few friends with me. It made him feel a little embarrassed as an older brother. Let me call him. Gu Huiyan went to take a shower and Zhang Shuo left. Su Yuntang, the only male, went upstairs to call him. The actor Su had no choice but to go upstairs and knock on Gu Huiyan's door. Gu Huiyan was also confused when he heard this. Then it was just a joke yesterday, why did this naughty kid take it seriously? Maybe he heard the chatter downstairs. Gu Huiyan didn't even have time to dry his hair, so he went downstairs while wiping it with a towel. As soon as he got off the ground, Xiao Awan and a few friends gathered around him and called Gu Huiyan flattered. You are really the king of children. Shang Zuoyan rolled her eyes. She didn't like this little Awan. The child said she was mean when she came yesterday. Pei Jingshu, on the other hand, found it quite interesting to see Gu Huiyan being so popular with children. Did you really agree? The mature sister Xylin was sharing the milk from the program sponsor with the children while asking questions. That's right. Gu Huiyan scratched his head, it was just a joke yesterday, who thought the kid would take it seriously? Wouldn't it really be inappropriate if he didn't sing to them now? Upon hearing this, the mature sister Xylin shrugged and gave him a helpless smile, saying that you should bear the consequences of your own sins, who asked you to agree to it yourself? Oh, let's go, don't be embarrassed here. Ayao is a very down-to-earth person. Seeing his brother chattering non-stop, he also knew that Gu Huiyan must be joking, so he naturally stepped forward to pull his brother away. The younger brother had an unhappy look on his face, and was still arguing with Ayao Jian. He saw that the two brothers were about to quarrel. Sing, 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 definitely sing. Gu Huiyan put the towel he was wiping his head on around his neck and went over to break up the fight, saying it was just a song. It wouldn't be worth it for you two brothers to start a fight over a song. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan did compose a pretty good song last night, so it was just right to try it out. Isn't this Pei Jingshu back? Let's just treat it as a fun addition and let the children be happy too. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 124. The female guest's residence, at the top of the stairs. Sister, do we still want to have a song date? Pei Ya, who had just come down from upstairs to help Pei Jingshu pack her luggage and take care of her room, was walking and chatting with her assistant. Isn't that the title song that hasn't been decided yet? Yesterday, the assistant suggested that Gu Huiyan help write one. Putting everything else aside, Teacher Gu is still generous in writing songs. Originally, they planned to ask Pei Jingshu to open her mouth and speak, but unfortunately, Pei Jingshu, a love brain, just didn't want to speak, which made Pei Ya quite helpless. Let's not talk about it for now. At this time, Pei Ya also calmed down and waved her hand slightly. In fact, after more than a day, she also thought a lot. Indeed, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's popularity of Pei Ban takes care of CP has soared. There are many benefits, and writing a song for Pei Jingshu is nothing. But at the same time, does this count as them also relying on Gu Huiyan? So far, they have never used Gu Huiyan for anything. Pei Jingshu paid unilaterally. It is precisely because of this that she hates Gu Huiyan and thinks he is a soft rice man. So if he writes a song, does this kid count as a counter-attack here? Then will he have no say in matters involving his sister and him? Originally, Pei Jingshu was very fond of him, and she secretly promised that if she wrote another song and had more bonds, it would really be a mess. Thinking of this, Pei Ya thought it would be better not to rely on Gu Huiyan. Furthermore, didn't this kid just write a few songs? Many singers wrote good songs when they first came out, but then they all went downhill. Who knows, could this kid Gu Huiyan just get lucky and hit a few songs by chance? If the song written for Pei Jingshu is not good, then Pei Jingshu, who is in love, insists on singing the song because he wrote it, then Pei Ya will really be in despair. After weighing the pros and cons, Pei Ya decided not to consider singing with Gu Huiyan for the time being. As for the title song, let's first ask some familiar songwriters if they have any other best-in-class works. This is what she thinks. While chatting with the assistant, I went downstairs. As soon as I arrived downstairs, I heard a chirping sound coming from the yard. Taking a closer look, they found that in addition to the guests and the program crew, there were actually a group of children in the small courtyard. What's happening here? Another assistant had been watching downstairs, and Pei Ya simply asked. The assistant told Gu Huiyan about singing to the children. Ah! At that time, Pei Ya was completely confused after hearing this. What was going on with this kid? How could he still write songs for children? And for free? What the hell? These days, any musician who is somewhat famous starts with a few 100,000 yuan to write a song. You are like Gu Huiyan, whose song Calorie earned Charlene Shang more than 800,000 yuan. The more a musician like him does, the more he should cherish his feathers and not write songs lightly, otherwise they will lose value. This guy is so good. Not only does he not care about feathers, but he also writes songs for children for free? What are you doing? In fact, it's not just Pei Ya who thinks this way. Gu Huiyan's boss Zhang Dan and the audience thought so too. Zhang Dan even wanted to go up and kick Gu Huiyan in the face. Are you kidding me? If MD writes songs for children without getting paid? Our company is not a charity, okay. The audience may also have a lot of doubts, and some even say whether Gu Huiyan is creating trouble through hype in the script, and so on. But when the cameras showed the young faces and clear eyes of the children, for a moment, everyone seemed to understand Gu Huiyan. Money is valuable, nothing in this world is more valuable than money. But it seems that children's sincerity and innocence are not the same thing as money. Yes, Gu Huiyan promised little A1 as a joke, but since he agreed, if he doesn't do it, the children will take it seriously. They may really be unhappy for a long time, and even years later, when they grow up, they think of finding a star to give to him. Writing your own songs can hurt your self-esteem a bit. What bad thoughts can a naughty kid have? Don't lie to anyone, otherwise you will really feel guilty, and you won't be able to sleep in the middle of the night without thinking about slapping yourself twice. These days, there are so many celebrities who say they don't value money, but how many of them really don't? Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x5. The system gave Gu Huiyan another round of points, but Gu Huiyan was still a little confused. Come on, come on. Without thinking much about it, Gu Huiyan came down with the computer. Fortunately, he had nothing to do last night and compiled a song just in case. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to arrange it at the last moment. Oh! The children were chattering a bit noisily. Some of them came with snacks, eating crispy noodles, potato chips, etc. Xilan also brought them milk, which made Shang Zuoyan look at it with greed. It is worth mentioning that the actor Subuletin doesn't like this kind of atmosphere with a lot of children. He doesn't like children. He likes to be quiet. Children are too noisy. Moreover, the snacks they ate were too flavorful, which made the actor Su frown tightly, and it was hard to say clearly. They were very blue and thin. Pei Jingshu just looked at Gu Huiyan quietly. She might be too beautiful, and she also had a cold temperament. Children would not dare to approach her. The living room, which is not that big, is quite lively. Okay, stop barking and be quiet. Gu Huiyan opened the computer software, and Xiao Awan just walked over and asked Gu Huiyan. Brother Gu, what's the name of this song? Gu Huiyan chuckled and said. It's called Reverse War, it's so exciting. Wow. Little Awan's eyes flashed, and several friends came over chattering. Gu Huiyan didn't waste any time and immediately clicked play to play the accompaniment. Next moment. Ding ding dong dong. Bursts of drum sounds came from his computer, followed by a very passionate electric guitar. Oh! Originally, everyone thought that Gu Huiyan sang to the children for fun, and thought that Gu Huiyan was going to sing dig, 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 dig to coax the children. Who knew that Gu Huiyan had come up with a new song, and the intro was like this. Hot-blooded. Just like what he said, it's very exciting. With that prelude, not to mention the children, even many adults felt infected. It's like your blood is boiling all of a sudden. Maybe he was too anxious to get down. Gu Huiyan didn't even have time to blow dry his hair, and it was still wet. When the prelude of Reverse War played, I don't know if the second soul was ignited. Gu Huiyan also moved his head, and there were even some water droplets on his hair hitting his arms. He was still carelessly wearing a pair of big pants, flip-flops and a simple white t-shirt. His hair was a little frizzy, and he looked like a middle school boy. But he was happy and carefree. And when it came to the point of the verse, he opened his mouth and came. On this battlefield where the wind rises and clouds surge, the storm boy appears. In defeating the raging fire, the heavy roar makes the whole world noisy. The signal of flying smoke, the mecha era is coming, blood, go against the current. The chariot is hot and the warriors are unstoppable. Yet, the entire drum beat of the song Reverse War is very dense, and the melody is also very burning. The main drum beat and electric guitar, the dense drum beats and the high-burning electric guitar music bring the song into a very passionate scene. It's like you are fighting someone on a battlefield. It seems as if your blood will be set on fire all at once, holding your head and shouting wildly in your ears. Tada, let's go. Tada, let's go. Those who can't give up anything can't change anything. This song really uses practical actions to explain what the appeal of music is. Are you just watching this moment? Oh. Ah. Those children were all ignited by Gu Huiyan. It was so exciting. There was a naughty child who happened to be carrying a teddy bear. He picked it up and threw it. Another child brought a toy stuffed tiger. At that time, the naughty child was lying on the ground trying to give the toy tiger a slide shovel. Either there is an explosion of prehistoric power or there is a burst of roaring dragon, various famous scenes, the picture is very joyful. It's nothing to ignite children. The most amazing thing is that Gu Huiyan's song ignited many viewers, as well as the guests and program crew at the scene. Oh, is this really written for children? Barrage blast. I feel like my blood is boiling. The company worked overtime tonight and refused to pay overtime. After listening to this song, the employees and management were excited and went directly to talk to the leaders. The worst case scenario is that the MD will quit and refuse all KFC. I've been lounging around at home all day during the holidays. After listening to this song, I was so excited that I got up and did a few push-ups. On this turbulent battlefield, the stormy boy appears. Ahaha, Gu Huiyan, you know how to be a middle school student. Continue. Don't stop. Hurry up. Come and fight against the enemy. Ace goes wild. Go into the universe and settle the world. Oh, counter-war, wild. Ace wants to vent. Fighting is the starting point of our stubbornness. Gu Huiyan himself sang quite happily. Don't tell me, this song is so hot. That is to say, singing in front of the accompaniment, if there is a drum kit in front of you and singing, it will really be explosive. Tate's hot pants. Isn't it? His voice has always been so good. On the side, the little Mustang Shang's Huiyan couldn't help but once again issued a soul torture. Why does it feel like this guy Gu Huiyan changes his timbre when he sings a song? When I sang a Diao before, it was very deep, and when I sang Want to See You, it was delicate and smooth like rippling water. Why is it so high burning and clear when I sing Reverse War now? When singing Reverse War, Gu Huiyan's tone was so loud. The arrangement of the whole song was so high energy, and the electric guitar and drum set heightened the atmosphere to an exaggerated level. Ordinary timbres simply couldn't handle it. And Gu Huiyan not only controlled it perfectly, but also vividly interpreted the passion of fighting. It felt like this voice was born for this song. And not only the timbre, but his vocal range is also very wide. The key of the whole song is very high, but he didn't use falsetto at all, and he sang it a cappella live. Shang Zuoyan was shocked. How did she get such a damn voice? Are you sure this is a human voice? I want to control my power. Show me your reputation. Look at this dragon battle in the wild. On this battlefield, thousands of passionate warriors are galloping forward. Defend the stubborn warrior. Fighting one more showdown. The four words excellent were so full in Gu Huiyan's performance of Reverse War. God knows how passionate this song is. Even people like 11 Lin and Su Yuntang, who usually like to be quiet, couldn't help but be affected by this song. After a day of horseback riding during the day, I was a little tired now. I don't know why, but now I feel like I am secreting adrenaline rapidly. The actor Su even feels that he can go out and run 5,678 kilometers now. Absolutely amazing. Netizens even asked, is this the legendary psychostimulant? I didn't expect you, Gu Huiyan, to be a middle-aged boy. What's funny is that little Awan next to him grabbed the corner of Gu Huiyan's clothes and shouted, Xiao Gu brother Niu, beep beep beep. These naughty kids are so happy. What he said made Gu Huiyan so frightened that he quickly plucked the wheat from his body, otherwise the live broadcast room would be blocked. Ha ha ha. The audience burst into laughter. This show was so joyful. Even many staff members on the show felt infected. This, alas. Zhang Dan couldn't laugh or cry. This guy Gu Huiyan wrote well and sang well, and the show was very effective. But the commercial value of such a song is very high. How can you sing it to children so easily without paying a penny? Hello. Do you really think my company is a charity? For example, Pei Jingshu's manager's sister Pei Ya was stunned after listening to Gu Huiyan's Reverse War. She was still thinking before that Gu Huiyan might have had some bad luck and accidentally hit a few songs. If Pei Jingshu asked him to write the song, if the song couldn't be written well and Pei Jingshu was still in love and insisted on singing, it would be a disaster. But after listening to Reverse War, she suddenly realized for a moment that there was something in Gu Huiyan's belly. Just talk about the songs written by Gu Huiyan so far. A Diao, folk song. Want to See You, popular. Calories, drool. Today's Reverse War goes directly to hot blood and second class. This guy's creative style is so versatile. Many musicians follow a certain style of creation and rarely step out of their comfort zone. However, Gu Huiyan's creative path is very changeable. The most important thing is that his works in every style are very nice and recognizable. The creative style of the Mandarin music scene in recent years has been dominated by saliva and popularity, which is almost fixed. It's not surprising that Gu Huiyan could write about Pei Ya for songs like Want to See You and Calories, but he can actually write songs in the style of Reverse War. This high-burning creative style sounds simple to you, but ordinary musicians can't handle it at all. The key is that the music and lyrics of each of his songs match perfectly, and the arrangement of each song is just right. He knows exactly what instrument, style, and melody should be used in each song. His musical understanding is very strong. This kind of person can be called an all-round musician. We should have trust in the songs he wrote. Have to say. Next up was Pei Ya, who was also conquered by Gu Huiyan at this time. Not to mention the two female assistants beside her, chattering and discussing how beautiful this song is, and how handsome Gu Huiyan is when he sings. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention it, although Gu Huiyan was still dressed carelessly today. He didn't even blow dry his hair, and it still had water droplets on it. His hair was fried because he shook his head. But I have to say that voice can really change a person. God knows how charming Gu Huiyan's voice was when he sang Reverse War. It was really wild and full of tension, as if he was about to be eaten. Many girls are voice controlled. I really hate this voice. It feels like singing makes Gu Huiyan look more handsome. Isn't that right? What's more, Gu Huiyan himself is not bad looking, he is a good looking young man. When he is dressed casually, he looks more like a big boy next door. That unbridled and flamboyant boy next door feeling is so addictive. You have to use him. Although she didn't want to admit it, Pei Ya still wanted to say that she might have to trouble Gu Huiyan about the title song. At this moment, in Pei Ya's eyes, those so-called bottom-of-the-box works by professional musicians really couldn't compare with Gu Huiyan. After Reverse War was sung, the naughty children were so excited that they all wished they could carry the blue-fired Gatling and follow Gu Huiyan to start a group and charge into the battle. As long as Gu Huiyan shouts, "2nd Battalion Commander, where's your damn Italian cannon?" they will rush out immediately. It took a lot of effort for Ayao to calm down his brother and his friends, otherwise these naughty kids would have to tear down the family. After singing Reverse War, it was almost time for Gu Huiyan and the others to have dinner. In order to welcome Pei Jingsha back and celebrate the recovery of the guests, the program team prepared a very nice dinner for everyone. There were many local specialties. It is said that they hired chefs from famous local restaurants. It is worth mentioning that a good A5-way Jia beef dish was served in the middle. Puff. At that time, the actor Su Zheng was drinking water and squirted in one sip, which caused a lot of laughter. Let's stay and eat together. Seeing a lot of food, Gu Huiyan simply invited Ayao and a bunch of naughty kids to stay and eat together. Ayao wanted to refuse, but when the naughty children saw how delicious the food was, they all wanted to stay, so under Gu Huiyan's kind invitation, they all stayed and ate together. A very lively dinner. Some viewers couldn't help but say, Gu Huiyan is really polite and not fake. When recording programs, many celebrity artists are usually pretending to be polite to dear people or villagers. They say they will stay and have dinner together, but they only say a few words. If they really stay, their expressions will not be natural. Even the program team would chase people away at that time. Very disgusting. And Gu Huiyan really stayed, and I have to say that this kid really plays with children. Just before eating, he was even grabbing crispy noodles with a child. During the meal, he and Xiao Awan competed for chicken legs. What a talent! But thinking about it, this seems to be something that Gu Huiyan can do. He usually just eats and drinks when he has nothing to do. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x5. Ding, host, points at 91x5. Gu Huiyan also forgot what he did in the middle. Anyway, the system gave points to him several times in a row. It's also very fun here. It is worth mentioning that the actor Su did not eat well this time, because these naughty kids didn't know how to eat well, and they all ate Haze's food just like Gu Huiyan, which made him have no interest in eating at all. The chirping is annoying. Best actor Su was speechless tonight. MD usually has enough trouble with just one Gu Huiyan, but today a group of Gu Huiyan came. Give him whatever is disgusting. At the same time, on the program team's side, Pei Jingsha's manager sister Pei Ya also approached Zhang Dan. What? Of course it's the title song. Zhang Dan was happy when he heard about this. Writing songs is fine, but you have to pay a price accordingly. Xiao Gu, right now, he is not lacking in exposure, but he is lacking in professional stage resources. Don't tell us post-00s that we are lonely warriors, come and shout with me, YYDS against the war. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 125. To be honest, Pei Ya is not very willing to chat with Zhang Dan, her in-laws, because she feels that Zhang Dan and Gu Huiyan are wrong at the top and crooked at the bottom, and neither the boss nor the artist is a good person. Especially when Pei Jingshu was leaving, Zhang Dan actually ran over to tell Pei Jingshu that she was gone, and Gu Huiyan wanted to send heartwarming messages to other female guests, so that everything was done properly. But when it comes to writing songs for Gu Huiyan, it seems that Zhang Dan really can only be approached. The boss doesn't agree, and Gu Huiyan may not dare to take on private work. This is good. What made Pei Ya slightly relieved was that Zhang Dan was very happy when she heard this, but then she was not calm when she heard Zhang Dan's quotation. 1 million. Pei Yaran was stunned when she heard the price. MD, nowadays, even those kings charge how much to write a song? How dare you, Gu Huiyan, ask for 1 million to write a song? Are you kidding me? What left her speechless the most was that the price didn't include the copyright. Pei Ya couldn't help but complain and said, "You can obviously steal the money directly, but you still want to give us a song. You guys are really generous." He. Zhang Dan was also having dinner with the staff. When he saw Pei Ya and his assistant coming over, he invited them to eat together. The dinner was very sumptuous, and the staff's working meals were also good. Pei Ya sat down very reluctantly, wondering if there was any discussion on the price. As a result, Zhang Dan directly showed her a screenshot of the 850,000 creative fee given by Shang Zuoyan's agent to write calories, which made everyone look stupid. She hasn't been here these days. Although she knew that Gu Huiyan wrote calories for Shang Zuoyan, she didn't know that the creation cost was so high, and she didn't want copyright. No. She is sick. Shang Zuoyan's agent started this, so she couldn't lower her price, and she couldn't ask for the copyright. It's so hurtful. Pei Ya was speechless. Why is this thing so involuted? Zhang Dan laughed and said that it still depends on whether Huiyan is willing to do it. If he doesn't want it, it's not easy for me as the boss to force him. Pei Ya was speechless at that time. Would she really kill herself if she asked Gu Huiyan for a song? But in fact, if Gu Huiyan writes a high-quality title song for Pei Jingshu, they will actually not lose at all. How to say? People nowadays may not have any idea about fire songs. Let's put it this way. There was a song mixed with Cantonese and Mandarin, sung by an internet celebrity, who was not a professional singer or star yet. His song made a small profit. Yes, excluding copyright profits, you may have to remove more than half of the profits, but the rest is quite considerable. The most important thing for a singer is his work. The value that his work can bring is so much, including exposure, announcements, resources, there are all kinds of benefits. So in fact, the creative fee of 1 million is really not high. Zhang Dan said that the copyright can be compromised and the singing rights can be given to Pei Jingshu, so that if she wants to sing, she does not need to prepare the copyright in advance and can sing whenever she wants. Creak. Pei Ya's back teeth were broken, but in fact, they were all rushing to beg Gu Huiyan and had no say in this matter. Okay, but it needs to be quick. We're anxiously waiting to use it, Pei Ya finally compromised. As long as the quality of the title song is excellent, 1 million is nothing. Pei Jingshu accepts a few advertisements at this price. Actually there is a condition. Seeing how happy she was, Zhang Dan suddenly couldn't bear to talk about it. Condition. Pei Ya was so angry that she almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. Please, some of the veteran professional music songwriters we find outside don't offer such high prices for writing songs. Why do you still want to impose conditions for such a high price? Are you kidding me? Calm down. Zhang Dan poured her a cup of tea, helped her calm down, and explained to her that this was a resource swap. Do you know the quality of our Xiaogu's works? There are many singers outside who are interested in collaborating and we, Xiaogu, don't have them. Schedule. And what you want is the title song, and we gave you the right to sing it, so we suffered the biggest loss. So you have to give some resources to replace it. You can't let our little Gubai suffer this loss, right? Although we men say that we should indeed give some betrothal gifts, you women can't help but return some dowry, right? This matter must be discussed in advance, otherwise problems may arise later. Payat, Pen. Paya was so angry that the veins on her forehead almost popped out. She originally thought that the resource replacement was that Gu Huiyan took the bonus of Pei Ban taking care of CP and then wrote a song for Pei Jingshu. But Zhang Dan didn't mention the matter of Pei Ban taking care of CP at all, pretending it never happened, and acted like they suffered a big loss because Gu Huiyan wrote a song for Pei Jingshu. Who the hell are you leaving the KTV here? I have to say that this Zhang Dan is really an old man, that is, Pei Yat. If it were anyone else, the CPU would be burned out by now. Don't be anxious. It's a good idea to listen to the conditions first. Zhang Dan drank her tea with a smile. As the godmother of domestic entertainment talent show, she is very knowledgeable and calm. You say. Pei Ye really wants to hear what resources she wants to replace. Zhang Dan picked up the chopsticks and took a bite of the food without haste, and said with a smile. I heard that the next episode of Time Singer will be a supporting event. Have you made a reservation as a supporting guest? As soon as these words came out, Pei Ye's eyes widened. Well, after all the fuss, this is still the idea. She should have thought of it earlier. In fact, it stands to reason that with the current popularity of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's Pei Ban takes care of CP, Gu Huiyan is really the most suitable candidate. If he takes part, he will definitely be the biggest highlight of the show. Maybe the performance is not as good as some of the senior king singers, but if you say the popularity, the two of them can definitely beat everyone. Many people have mentioned this to Pei Ya in the past few days. Even the program team of Time Singer and several participating singer friends have also mentioned it to her, but Pei Ya really didn't want Gu Huiyan, that guy, to get close to Pei Jingshu. The two of them are on the show together, so it's inappropriate to be tied up in marketing and hyped up for CP. The popularity of Pei Ban takes care of CP is already higher now, and it may really get out of control by then. Having said that, Zhang Dan is actually also curious, why does Pei Ya dislike Gu Huiyan so much? How to say this? Just the kind you know. My daughter, who is as cute as a princess, suddenly one day fell in love with a spirited young man riding a will-o'-the-wisp, wearing tight pants, beanie shoes, and smoking a cigarette in his mouth. Maybe it's true that Gu Huiyan is not really like that, but his village spirit behavior is almost the same in Pei Ya's eyes, right? I feel like that wild boy is not worthy of my sister. These two people should not appear in the same world. Yes, they are the male and female protagonists, and the dog partners and dear people around them all want them to be together, just like they are acting in a TV series. But TV dramas are TV dramas after all. Do you really think that energetic young man will be happy living with the rich princess? The elders in your family will not harm you, understand? So she really didn't want Pei Jingshu to come into contact with Gu Huiyan. To be honest, if it hadn't been for the contract, she would have taken Pei Jingshu away without even wanting to come back. This Pei Ya is also a strong woman. Seeing Zhang Dan go so far, she really wants to break the pot and stop cooperating. If the song is not written, why don't we not want it anymore? The title song doesn't have to be written by Gu Huiyan. We can also find other people to support the guests. Why do we have to speculate with this old guy? No, why do you have a shaft? Zhang Dan was not in a hurry, but she was a little helpless. She pulled this strong woman down with earnest words and explained to her the pros and cons. You watch Gu Huiyan go to be a supporting guest for Pei Jingshu. I won't mention the exposure, resources, and benefits that the popularity of CP marketing can bring. You just want to talk about whether Xiaogu will have to write for the two of them if they perform a duet song between a man and a woman? Will this song also be included in Pei Jingshu's upcoming new album? This song doesn't cost you any creative fees. That's what Xiaogu should do on the show. Then the two songs written by Gu Huiyan in one album will be of online quality. You are equivalent to spending one song on Xiaogu. I wrote two songs. The most important thing is that there is no need to promote this song. If the performance on the show is good, the popularity of their CP will be enough to attract traffic, and it can even contribute to other works in the album, and save you a lot of publicity. Issue fees. Then you shouldn't spend 1.8 million to announce the album's release. Who can achieve such a suitable resource replacement? It's just our Xiaogu. You kid, don't get the advantage and act like a good boy, just go ahead and steal Lur. Pei Ya. After listening to what Zhang Dan said, Pei Ya was really better than listening to what he said. This Zhang Dan is really an old man. You are just talking nonsense to her. How could she not know the benefits here? But you can't just talk about the benefits it brings to Pei Jingshu. Gu Huiyan doesn't have more benefits than Pei Jingshu. Not just anyone can get on Singer of the Times. This program has very high traffic and attention. Almost all the people who go there are well-known singers in the music industry. Pei Jingshu is the only young singer. Pei Jingshu is not the only one with this level of resources. As for Jingshu, no matter how you and Gu Huiyan want to get in touch, it will take another 2 or 3 years. But she was embarrassed to say this. How to say? Gu Huiyan's going is really a win-win for Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan. Even if she didn't like Gu Huiyan, she still had to admit that with Gu Huiyan, Pei Jingshu would indeed have divine help. I'll think about it again. She scratched her head and said with some trouble. Ahaha, don't be in a hurry, don't be in a hurry, think about it slowly. Mother Zhang was happy when she heard this, thinking that this was a show. She called Gu Huiyan's new assistant Zhang Nuan directly in front of Pei Ya and said, "Go and tell Xiaogu and ask him to write a song for Pei Jingshu tonight and ask him to do it tomorrow morning. Just remember one thing, the quality must be guaranteed, the title song must be affordable, and it must be tailor-made. Do you know?" Okay, Zhang Nuan nodded obediently. Pei Ya felt a little relieved after hearing this, and thought that what Zhang Dan said in the scene was not bad. Who knows the next moment? Besides, Mother Zhang waved again and said to Zhang Nuan, "You should also prepare here, communicate with Pei Jingshu's staff, and check the flight information. I just made an agreement with her agent to let Xiaogu follow Pei Jingshu to attend the rehearsal of Singer of the Times." Pei Ya was stupid at the time. "No, didn't I say I had to think about it?" She protested, but Zhang Dan laughed and said, "Didn't I also say that I wanted to get ready? I didn't say that I was sure to go. Why are you so excited?" Pei Ya. How should I put it, after this night's communication, she was completely speechless towards Zhang Dan, her in-law, and she really didn't want to say a word to this person anymore, it was so shameless. Sure enough, there are just as many artists as there are bosses. And for some reason, Pei Ya feels like, Pei Jingshu has fallen into Gu Huiyan's trap, and she has fallen into the pit dug by Zhang Dan? What the hell? The dinner was quite enjoyable. The children had a lot of fun, eating and drinking, and each mouthful of little brother Gu was sweet. It is worth mentioning that Shang Zuoyan was robbed of meat several times by a smart child. She was so anxious that she yelled at Gu Huiyan, "Please take care of your little brother." After dinner, after playing for a while, Ayao took the horse and went back with a few children. It happened to be getting late, and the mature sister Xylin took the lead again. Everyone had almost gone upstairs to rest. The recording has just come to an end. Having said that, everyone is really looking forward to the heartbeat message session tonight. Isn't it that Pei Jingshu is back today? In the past few days when she was away, although the heartbeat message session was put on hold for only 2 days due to the guest being poisoned by eating fungi, Gu Huiyan gave Xilan separate messages during these 2 days. Sister and Shang Zuoyan sent heartwarming messages. He and these two also have Android CP and Looking to the West CP respectively. Now that Pei Jingshu is back today, everyone wants to see who else Gu Huiyan's heartwarming message will be sent to. Will it still be given to one of Xilan and Shang Zuoyan, or to Pei Jingshu who has just returned? Regarding this point, in fact, before Pei Jingshu came back, everyone probably agreed that it should be one of Xilan and Shang Zuoyan. But when Sister Pei's face appeared in front of the camera today, for some reason, everyone felt like the eldest wife is back and my beloved concubine is back. It gives you the feeling that other CPS have no competition in front of Pei Jingshu. Once she comes back, everything will be hers. There is a Shiuer on the internet who even made an emoticon package for the picture of Sister Pei at that time, with subtitles and pictures. This time, I will take back what belongs to me. The whole script is about a sinister revenge, which is very funny. In fact, not only the audience was nervous, but also 11 Lin and Shang Zuoyan were a little nervous. It's strange. They also felt that they should be very familiar with Gu Huiyan after several days of communication and getting along with each other. But the moment Pei Jingshu came back, they suddenly felt that familiarity and love are not the same feeling. Déjà vu. It just feels like Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan are in love. They themselves were speechless. It's not that I have low self-esteem. Female celebrities don't have low self-esteem. The main thing is that they recognize the reality more clearly. Well, having said that, tonight's little wild horse Shang Zuoyan was actually a little depressed when the program team announced her heartbeat information. To be honest, she didn't want to send today's heartwarming message to Gu Huiyan. She was so disgusted by MD's bad taste today. It was too licking to send it to him. But if you don't send it to him, you can only send it to the best actor Su, and that one is even less interesting. It's so annoying. Thinking about it gave me a headache. Shang Zuoyan in the room simply planned to remove her makeup first and then apply a facial mask before thinking about the heartbeat information. But just as she was about to remove her makeup, she found that the makeup remover was gone. I sent a message to the staff but didn't seem to see it. There was no reply for a long time, so Shang Zuoyan planned to go downstairs to get it by herself. After all, it was the show recording site. Even though the guests had gone upstairs, the first floor was still brightly lit. It was a bit late. When Shang Zuoyan went downstairs, she found that many staff members had gone back, leaving only some staff on duty. The weather was relatively hot. At this time, she was wearing a simple home outfit, pajama style, but her lower body was shorts, and her voluptuous legs were exposed wantonly. It is worth mentioning that even wearing loose pajamas, there is no way to hide the chubby Seongdakshin brothers. Occasionally, the audience will also want to say, when will Shang Zuoyan let Seongdakshin come out for some air? We don't abuse small animals. Chi chi chi. There is a pool on the east side of the small courtyard. It is usually used for washing clothes or something, although the guests have not used it much. As soon as she came downstairs, Shang Zuoyan heard a sound like something was being brushed over there. Who is it so late? Shang Zuoyan originally wanted to say, who is still doing things downstairs so late? It seems that all the guests have gone upstairs. Could it be a staff member of the program team? Shang Zuoyan quietly went downstairs, but she wasn't afraid. There were staff on duty at the program recording site who were scared. Who could have caught her here? She poked her cute little head out and took a look, only to find that the figure wearing the familiar big pants and flip-flops seemed to be Gu Huiyan. What are you doing? It's so late, this guy is doing something here, he's so serious, it's like it's a big deal. I go. Gu Huiyan brushed his brush carefully and didn't hear Shang Zuoyan approaching at all. He couldn't help but roll his eyes. Why are you walking like a ghost and making no sound? You were obviously too focused and didn't hear me, right? Shang Zuoyan put her hands around her chest, her hair was scattered casually, and her bangs covered part of her forehead, giving her a casual beauty. What are you doing? The dog is so sneaky, what are you doing to yourself? Shang Zuoyan rolled her eyes. No. Gu Huiyan immediately dodged, not wanting Shang Zuoyan to see him. But the more he hid it, the more curious Shang Zuoyan became. She thought Gu Huiyan had hidden something, some secret that was so ulterior, so she crazily dug in to see the pool. What is inside? She was sickened by Gu Huiyan's video of her poisoning from fungus before, and now Gu Huiyan still occasionally uses it to laugh at her. Shang Zuoyan thought that she could finally catch the moment when Gu Huiyan made a fool of herself this time. Things are changing, and you, Mr. Gu, will also fall into my hands today, wow. Hey, don't, it's nothing. The two of them were playing around in the yard, inevitably making some body movements. Shang Zuoyan had a lot of flesh on her body, and she insisted on watching. Gu Huiyan had to use gentleman's hands in order not to touch her, but she actually caught the opportunity and got in. Ahaha, Gu Huiyan, you have this day too. I have to take a picture of it. I want to see you make a fool of yourself. Shang Zuoyan was quite happy after getting in. She put her hands into her pockets to take out her mobile phone. She was very lucky that she had her mobile phone when she went downstairs. Otherwise, how could she not record such a beautiful moment? But just when she took out her phone and saw what was in the pool behind Gu Huiyan. At that time, she was stunned on the spot. The smile on the pretty, doll-like face froze for an instant, and then became stiff. Because what appeared in the pool turned out to be her shoe, which was stained with cow dung. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 126. Evening. It's already past 10 o'clock. The recording of Crystal Love Season has ended long ago, the cameras have been turned off, the guests have all gone upstairs to rest, and there are only a few staff on duty downstairs. As part of the program's agreement, there will be no recording at night, all cameras will be turned off, and no GoPro will be left. It is precisely because of this that Shang Zuoyan and Gu Huiyan at this time can almost be said to be in a completely private state. Itself. Shang Zuoyan thought that Gu Huiyan was secretly doing something shameful behind everyone's back when everyone was going to rest. She finally discovered it, and she was finally able to catch Gu Huiyan. Previously, she was poisoned by eating mushrooms and she hugged Gu Huiyan and gnawed on her. Gu Huiyan took advantage of it and laughed at her for several days. Shang Zuoyan always remembered this. But what Shang Zuoyan never expected was that not only was Gu Huiyan doing something shameful, but he was helping her clean her shoes that were stained with cow dung during the day. In the pool. Can't be called clean. Even dirty. Shoes stained with cow dung are really disgusting. Even if a lot of the dirt is washed away by water, touching them directly with your hands will be unbearable. Although many of the things that were washed away have been washed away by the sewers, there are still many that are rippling at the bottom of the pool. If you put aside everything, without any preconditions, and just let Shang Zuoyan watch it, Shang Zuoyan would feel disgusted and even have a feeling of turmoil in his stomach. Even if she is not a celebrity artist, she is still a girl. How can a girl who loves to be clean have anything to do with something like cow dung? But at this moment. But there was no disgust in Shang Zuoyan's heart. Whether it was her pretty doll-like face or her heart, there was an emotion called touching all over it. Turn out to be. What Gu Huiyan was busy with here so late at night was actually his own shoes. That. Oh, I said it's nothing, you have to see it. It's not something clean, it's really. Gu Huiyan stood behind Shang Zuoyan, scratching his head with a look of helplessness on his face. When he came back in the afternoon, Gu Huiyan heard from Shang Zuoyan's assistant that these shoes must be thrown away. They were so dirty and disgusting that even the assistant was unwilling to clean them. Besides, they didn't lack this pair of shoes. Even though these shoes are worth a lot of money, maybe several thousand yuan, but if Zhou Yan, a shoe dealer with a few thousand yuan a pair, has a garage, she won't be reluctant to part with them. A few thousand yuan is really just a drop in the bucket for a celebrity artist. But Gu Huiyan felt that these shoes were pretty good looking, so they wouldn't throw them away after stepping on cow dung, right? Zuoyan also likes it? Wouldn't it be a pity to just throw it away? In the past, when Gu Huiyan was at home, no matter how dirty his shoes were, no matter how disgusting he stepped on, he would still wear them after brushing them clean. At the worst, he would spray some perfume on them. This thing is not disposable. You can throw it away wherever you want. In the words of his mother, that is. This is what we call living. These shoes, no matter how you say it, it was because he was playing with firecrackers that Shang Zuoyan stepped into cow dung. He bears a certain degree of responsibility. So Gu Huiyan was thinking about giving her a brush himself. He didn't want Shang Zuoyan to know that it was him who did the brushing. After all, he and Shang Zuoyan were not very dealing with each other, and there was no glory in such a disgusting thing as brushing shoes with cow dung on them. Maybe Shang Zuoyan would even dislike it? What about him? That's why Gu Huiyan didn't want Shang Zuoyan to see it just now, so he went back and swiped it and threw it to her assistant. If the assistant said it was her who swiped it, wouldn't that be the end of it? But I never thought. Shang Zuoyan suddenly came down and broke the news. It was embarrassing enough for Gu Huiyan. At this moment, Gu Huiyan's hands still had some foam left from scrubbing her shoes and applying soap, dripping with drops of water, and they didn't look very clean. She was afraid that it would get on Shang Zuoyan and she would scream again, so she didn't move forward. No, I'm helping you clean your shoes with good intentions, so you won't ignore me, right? Seeing Shang Zuoyan with her back on her back and her head lowered, staring at the shoes that had not been cleaned in the pool, Gu Huiyan thought that this woman was disgusted or angry again. After all, Shang Zuoyan always had a very disgusted expression when he was doing various rectification tasks. It was just because she was a woman that Gu Huiyan couldn't easily choke her, otherwise she would end up like Zhang Shuo. Who said I would ignore you? Shang Zuoyan's face with her back to Gu Huiyan was filled with emotion. She sorted out her emotions and turned around slightly. With her back against the pool, her big watery eyes stared straight at Gu Huiyan. At the program recording site, even if the cameras were turned off after the recording, the lights on the first floor were still bright. The program team did not lack the electricity bill at all. But maybe it's because the pool is in a relatively remote location. There are no lights here. Gu Huiyan happened to be standing with his back to the light. From Shang Zuoyan's perspective, she could just see the silly Gu Huiyan looking at her with her hands dripping with water, for fear of touching her. There is light behind him, and the light that occasionally shines from behind him seems to cast a shadow on him, adding some three-dimensionality to this kid. Pook. I don't know why, but looking at Gu Huiyan's silly look, Shang Zuoyan actually smiled. Gu Huiyan made her feel disgusting in her daily life, especially today. She wished she could die for Gu Huiyan. Until she went to bed at night, she felt itchy with hatred when she thought about what she had experienced all day long. She even felt that she couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, so she would sit up and say, "No, is he sick?" But at this moment, Gu Huiyan. But it made her feel inexplicably cute. The smell in the air was not pleasant. What filled her nose was almost all the smell of the soap Gu Huiyan used to clean his shoes, and there was even some disgusting smell of cow dung. If it were normal, Shang Zuoyan would definitely dislike it. But she didn't know why, but now she felt that the smell was not unpleasant. This was the smell that life should have. You are so ridiculous. Gu Huiyan grinned, thinking that Shang Zuoyan was going to laugh at him again. Who knew that Shang Zuoyan actually raised a jade hand, put it on his face, pinched the right side of his face, and said with a smile. You're so cute when you laugh. Roll. Is it ridiculous for a grown man to be praised as cute? Gu Huiyan's hands were dirty, otherwise he would give Shang Zuoyan a blow. Giggle. Shang Zuoyan giggled, and at the next moment, she suddenly moved closer to Gu Huiyan. For a moment, the two of them were almost cheek to cheek. You, what are you doing? Gu Huiyan was shocked. At this time, they were very close, so close that they could almost feel each other's breath. Maybe it's because the makeup remover is gone and she hasn't had time to remove makeup yet. Shang Zuoyan's face is still in a full makeup state. Although it's not as delicate as when she was first painted over time, she still looks pretty good despite her good looks. It is worth mentioning that Shang Zuoyan's eyes are definitely the biggest among the three female guests. Her eye makeup is now fully online, with slightly raised eyelashes, very obvious eyeliner, and the color of the blush is also a bit want. This distance, such a delicate doll-like face, is almost touching Gu Huiyan's face. Gilug. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but swallowed. Don't get me wrong, I'm not greedy, I'm just scared. Gu Huiyan didn't dare to look at Shang Zuoyan anymore. People say that people who like each other can't help but kiss each other if they look at each other for more than 3 seconds. Gu Huiyan was really afraid that if he looked at each other for a long time, this woman would really forcefully kiss him. Cut. Seeing the straight man looking away, Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but pout, but she didn't care. Instead, she raised her hand and grabbed Gu Huiyan's collar. Gu Huiyan originally wanted to step back and put some distance between the two of them, but Shang Zuoyan suddenly grabbed his collar and pulled him back. It must be due to inertia. If it weren't for Gu Huiyan's balance online, she would have almost kissed Shang Zuoyan. Do you think Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan had any close contact? There must be. When the two of them danced Troublemaker together on the second day, the distance between them was so close that Gu Huiyan even patted Shang Zuoyan's butt because he was distracted. But it was dancing and performing after all. Just like acting, when you enter the play, you feel that everything is as it should be. Facing the camera and the eyes of so many people, it is not easy for you to blush and your heart beats, because you know very well in your heart that it is a performance. But it's different now. There are no cameras watching, and there are not many staff on duty. They don't pay much attention to them. It's really in private, with no one and no cameras. Intimate contact with Shang Zuoyan. Such a situation. How could Gu Huiyan not have a normal physiological reaction like an accelerated heartbeat? Privately, even if he was taking advantage of her, no one would know. He could do whatever he wanted to Shang Zuoyan. Gu Huiyan didn't want to have this thought, but he couldn't help but the atmosphere at this moment was hinting at him like this. Hey, Gu Huiyan. She was as quirky as Shang Zuoyan, with a slight flush on her pretty face. Her big eyes stared straight at Gu Huiyan, her eyelashes trembled slightly, and she breathed like orchid. She said softly. Do you like me? Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment. Ah. Then a series of black question marks appeared on his face. What the hell, where do you start talking about this? Where and where? Why do I like you? In fact, in Gu Huiyan's case, he may simply have inherited his mother's fine tradition of living life. He feels that it is a pity to throw away a pair of shoes stained with cow dung, not to mention that he caused her to step on cow dung and helped her clean it. One swipe is normal. But when I got to Shang Zuoyan, I had a different view. Shang Zuoyan thought, If this guy doesn't like her, why does he always make trouble with her and tease her? Aren't many boys generally teasing a girl because they like her and want to get close to her? I definitely like it. Menzeo. If she didn't like it, why would she help her clean her shoes in the middle of the night, which even the assistant didn't want to clean, and were stained with something as disgusting as cow dung? All these factors made her feel that Gu Huiyan must like her. Fortunately, she was still worried about the gain and loss because of Pei Jingshu's return, and she was afraid that Gu Huiyan would send a heartbeat message to Pei Jingshu again. Looking at it now, she is really treating one thing favorably and the other. Why aren't she and Gu Huiyan more familiar than Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan? Why does Gu Huiyan insist on liking Pei Jingshu instead of her? Look. What time is it now? Everyone is excited about the information session. The other guests were probably all frantically brainstorming on how to send a heartwarming message, but Gu Huiyan was downstairs talking to her about Zhuoyan and brushing her shoes. Isn't this enough to explain something? Shang Zhuoyan is a very wild and open girl. If a boy really impresses her, she will really ask directly, "Do you like me?" She felt that love should be like this, passionate and passionate. "You damn duck, please stop being so harsh, okay?" A hint of shyness appeared on Shang Zhuoyan's doll-like face. She raised her other hand and patted Gu Huiyan's chest gently, saying coquettishly. To be honest, Gu Huiyan now wants to say to her, "I'll kill you," or "Are you such a damn duck that you can describe a man like this?" But I was afraid that Shang Zhuoyan would explode on the spot, so it was really inappropriate to say this at this time. To be honest, Gu Huiyan actually had a good way of dealing with flirty talk, but at this moment, he was speechless for Shang Zhuoyan. He was thinking, is Shang Zhuoyan confessing to him? Isn't it a bit against the program rules for her to do this? So it was what he did tonight that made Shang Zhuoyan misunderstand? All in all. At this time, Gu Huiyan was brainstorming frantically. Countless thoughts passed through his mind in just a few minutes, but he didn't know what to say. Looking at Shang Zhuoyan's pretty face so close and his piercing eyes, he was a little confused. A few moments. "Forget it, I won't embarrass you anymore." It was very clear that Gu Huiyan was a tough-mouthed straight man, and Shang Zhuoyan did not make things difficult for him. She knew even more clearly that she seemed to be a little over the top. So she casually let go of Gu Huiyan's collar, but did not distance herself from Gu Huiyan. Instead, she gently approached Gu Huiyan, stood on tiptoes, and said in his ear, "Remember to send me a heartbeat message later." After saying that, she playfully blew the air into Gu Huiyan's ear. "Turn around and leave." After just a few steps, before Gu Huiyan could breathe a sigh of relief, she walked back again. Under Gu Huiyan's confused and disbelieving gaze, she came to Gu Huiyan, lowered her head and hesitated for a moment, then raised her white jade neck, lightly pursed her lips, stood on tiptoes, and leaned forward slightly. On Gu Huiyan's face. "Boo. A kiss." Then he seemed a little shy and ran away, trotting all the way back upstairs. This scene was not recorded and may not appear in the feature film of Crystal Love Season. But it clearly appeared in the minds of the two parties involved, Gu Huiyan and Shang Zhuoyan. My! It wasn't until Shang Zhuoyan left for a while that Gu Huiyan stupidly raised his hand and gently touched the area on his face where Shang Zhuoyan had kissed him. After touching it, he looked at his hand blankly, then put it to the tip of his nose and sniffed it gently. I originally wanted to say that people say sweet kiss, sweet kiss. Isn't this kiss very fragrant and fragrant? But the next moment I put my hand to the tip of my nose. Ugh, a plant. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but almost rolled his eyes. He had forgotten that his hands were just brushing shoes and were stained with cow dung and soap. There was no smell of kisses, they all smelled like cow dung. So disgusting. If the audience saw this scene, they would definitely laugh crazy. This is really a funny eye-catching trick. Gu Huiyan didn't think too much. He finished the things in front of him and helped Shang Zuoyan clean his shoes. I have to say that Gu Huiyan has a good way of cleaning shoes and washing clothes. Shang Zuoyan's shoes stained with cow dung took him a long time to clean them as before. After the white shoes were painted, he found some toilet paper to cover them and found a place where the sun should be visible to dry them. Then he washed his hands and went upstairs. At this time, the staff was already telling him to send a heartbeat message quickly. In fact, the staff informed him nearly an hour ago, but Gu Huiyan was busy cleaning his shoes. How could those shoes stained with cow dung be so easy to clean? Gu Huiyan spent a long time cleaning them, and Shang Zuoyan came down to do something. Naturally, time was wasted. At this time, almost all the heartbeat messages from the guests have been sent. The actor Su Yuntang still sent it to his mature sister Xylin, but unfortunately the goddess Xylin still ignored him and sent it to Gu Huiyan in the same old way. The content. It's actually a bit interesting. My sister asked. Do you want to ride a horse next time? It was actually quite interesting to ride the horse today. Xylin held Gu Huiyan while riding. Although the straight man Gu Huiyan felt ashamed, he actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't know how many people want to be held and ridden by the goddess siren, okay. Gu Huiyan definitely won't be able to behave well despite getting an advantage. Of course, it was not only the mature sister Xylin who sent Gu Huiyan a touching message, but also Shang Zuoyan just now. Little Mustang Shang Zuoyan didn't know if she was cheating tonight, but the heartwarming message she sent to Gu Huiyan actually said. There's no need to hide it if you like it, what do you think? Gu Huiyan looked at him with both eyes on his head, so why did MD get sucked up even though he just brushed his shoes? By the way, are these girls so weird? I like this kind of thing. In fact, sometimes it is just a moment, it may be a small detail, it may not be very clean, or even dirty. To be honest, Gu Huiyan really had a hard time making a choice tonight in the heartbeat message section. In the past, as long as Pei Jingshu was around, heartwarming messages would definitely be sent to her. But the situation tonight was obviously not right. Gu Huiyan didn't know who to send it to. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan once again won the Grand Slam tonight. The heartbeat messages of the three female guests, including the returning cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu, were once again collectively given to Gu Huiyan. Yes, Pei Jingshu's heartwarming message was also sent. Gu Huiyan thought, why not take a look at Pei Jingshu's heartbeat information first? So he opened it and looked. Her words are simple, just like her temperament, as elegant as jasmine. She just asked. Do you miss me? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 127. To be honest, before seeing Pei Jingshu's heartbeat message, Gu Huiyan was really hesitant and difficult to decide who to send his heartbeat message to tonight. A lot of things did happen in the past few days since Pei Jingshu left. Gu Huiyan is actually much more familiar with Xylin and Shang Zuoyan. Let's talk about Xylin first. Gu Huiyan used to think that his sister was a queen, but these days Xylin gave him the opposite feeling. She was very gentle and easy to get along with. Picking fungi, carrying her down the mountain, riding the same horse, they really got to know each other better day by day. Sister Xylin always smells like a mature woman. The smell of that older sister is so attractive that people can't help but want to get close to her and can't stop. Followed by Shang Zuoyan. Originally, Gu Huiyan felt that Shang Zuoyan was getting better and better at playing, could make any kind of joke, and they became brothers. But are you watching tonight? She was just about to tell Gu Huiyan I like you openly. Gu Huiyan regarded her as his brother, but she actually wanted to have sex with him. To be honest, it's a bit strange, but not too sloppy. Gu Huiyan did not deny it at all. When Shang Zuoyan was close to him, when he could feel Shang Zuoyan's breath, when Shang Zuoyan stood on tiptoes and blew ear wind in his ear, when Shang Zuoyan kissed him when it comes to cheeks. Gu Huiyan was also a little moved. He also knew that it might be an illusion caused by the hormones at that moment. It might not be love, but desire. But desire will also affect the judgment of the human brain at certain times. The love in her eyes couldn't be deceived. She also made it clear that night that she wanted Gu Huiyan to send her a heartbeat message. Would it be inappropriate if she didn't send it? So overall, Gu Huiyan was a little moved by Sister Xylin and Shang Zuoyan. This made Gu Huiyan very difficult to make a choice in tonight's heartbeat message segment. But when he saw the message from Pei Jingshu, "Have you missed me?" I didn't know why at the time. Gu Huiyan felt a sudden throbbing in his heart. That kind of throbbing made him just want to reply to Pei Jingshu with a heartbeat message at that moment. How to say? It felt like if he didn't reply to Pei Jingshu's "Do you miss me?" when he reunited after a long absence, he himself would feel a little guilt. This white moonlight is really a big killer. Well, Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, smiled bitterly, and silently said, "Sister Xylin, Shang Zuoyan, I'm sorry," in his heart, and then chose to reply to Pei Jingshu. Don't blame Gu Huiyan. If it were any other man, no one would choose not to reply to Pei Jingshu. She is Pei Jingshu, whose face is in front of everyone. If it were her, who would look at others? It's too late, it's almost 12 o'clock. Pei Jingshu has been too tired in the past few days. In order to come back quickly, she has to do a lot of work. She slept on the plane the past few nights. After taking off her makeup, Pei Jingshu found that she had heavy dark circles under her eyes while sitting in front of the mirror. Maybe she could still do it without makeup, but her mental state would often be reflected on her face. She thought that if she were in this state, she would definitely be no match for Sister Xylin and Shang Zuoyan. She really should go to sleep at this time, but she couldn't sleep because Gu Huiyan didn't reply to her heartwarming message. Pei Jingshu is also a competitive woman at heart. She doesn't want to lose to anyone anywhere, and the same goes for men. She originally thought that Gu Huiyan would definitely reply to her without hesitation if she used this killing move similar to Imasu. But what made her a little helpless and disappointed was that as time passed, it was more than an hour since she sent her heartbeat message to Gu Huiyan, and Gu Huiyan still had no reply. One thing she had to admit was that Gu Huiyan might have really transferred love. When she came back, her heartwarming messages were sent to others. During the day, it seemed like the relationship between them was the same as before, but it seemed that it might just be her illusion. Woo! As she was thinking about it, Pei Jingshu didn't know why, but the tip of her nose felt sore, and tears began to well up in her eyes. It was at this time. Ding dong! Her cell phone suddenly rang. Pei Jingshu was startled. She quickly picked it up and took a look. Gu Huiyan replied to her. "Of course I do." At that moment, Pei Jingshu burst into tears and smiled. She raised a slender, bony hand and gently covered her mouth, and her tears finally fell down. But instead of tears of sadness, they were tears of happiness. "Why did you just reply to me now?" she asked Gu Huiyan. After seeing the news, Gu Huiyan scratched his head and thought that he couldn't reply to Pei Jingshu and said that he was cleaning Shang Zuoyan's shoes downstairs just now, right? That should be misunderstood. So he replied. "I made the title song for you, but I was busy and forgot about it." By the way, the assistant told him about this in the evening. Gu Huiyan didn't expect to do it so quickly. As soon as he said this, he should work overtime tonight. Pei Jingshu wiped away her tears, pursed her lips slightly, and replied with a smile. "Come on then, I'm going to sleep." "Good." Gu Huiyan smiled and sent her a good night emoticon back. After a few words of conversation, Gu Lulu smiled as happily as a fat boy weighing 200 pounds. After finishing the heartwarming message with Pei Jingshu, thinking of Shang Zuoyan, Gu Huiyan didn't know why he felt a little indebted, but as for this, it doesn't matter who he sent it to or not, so he can only say, "It's all the fault of the evil program team." "Oh, don't worry, let's work overtime first." Gu Huiyan simply didn't think about it anymore. He was so familiar with Shang Zuoyan, so he just said a few words and it would be over. So he simply opened the system mall and went to other areas. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan had a whole day of work today, and he had quite a lot of points. With the more than 2,000 left before, he had over 10,000 points again. This time Gu Huiyan didn't squander it. His singing skills and other talents were enough for now, so he might as well keep them for the time being. He might need to exchange a lot of works in the past 2 days. Let's change the song first. Since it was a song written for Pei Jingshu, Gu Huiyan must choose some of good quality. Some of the songs in the system mall actually cost more points. You are like the songs Gu Huiyan sang before, such as Adiao, Want to See You, Calories and so on. The points required are not high, the most is only 15 or 600. There are many songs with more than 2,000 points on the upper level. On the next level, there are even some that require 5 to 6,000 points to unlock and redeem. Everyone in Gu Huiyan had to undergo surgery. Gu Huiyan no longer wanted to be too ambitious and started looking for songs for Pei Jingshu. After searching carefully for a long time, I finally found a song. This song is kind of interesting. Gu Huiyan listened to it, and the more he listened, the more interesting it became. This song required more than 2,000 points to be redeemed, and Gu Huiyan redeemed it without hesitation after the trial. Then there's the crazy arranging thing. Tonight is destined to be a sleepless night. Today, as usual, classmates Yao Gu and Crystal Love Season once again mentioned a few hot searches. Needless to say, Gu Huiyan's hot search. Everyone is used to this kid doing all kinds of things all day long. At most, it's just to see what new tricks he comes up with today. On the contrary, Pei Jingshu's return and Gu Huiyan's reverse war are very popular. It's normal for Pei Jingshu's return to be a hot topic. Sister Pei's face is in the spotlight. Once she returns, everything will be hers. In addition, Gu Huiyan's heartwarming message was sent back to her tonight, so Pei Ban takes care of CP will naturally make a comeback again. Popular all over the internet. Android CP and Wang CP were so suppressed that they couldn't raise their heads. Some people said that the heartwarming messages 11 Lin and Shang Zuoyan racked their brains could not compare to Pei Jingshu's Do You Miss Me? This boy absolutely loves Pei Jingshu. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu's This Time, I Will Take Back Everything That Belongs to Me emoji went viral, and was used by many netizens to post it in the comment areas of various related videos. Surprisingly, Gu Huiyan's song Reverse War became popular to a level that it shouldn't have. After the edited video of that night was released, a group of people in the comment area of the video related to the song said, "My baby is only 8 years old. He was watching Crystal Love Season with me. Hearing Gu Huiyan sing Reverse War, I don't know why but he got high immediately. My son is a primary school student. He is grabbing me by the collar and asking me what the name of the song is. If I don't tell him, he will shoot me dead. My child didn't do well in the high school entrance examination. After listening to Reverse War, he actually said that he wanted to work as a mercenary abroad. I can only say that this song is very suitable for children, and it is just right for college students. We in the dormitory were watching variety shows together, and we were so excited that we did 10 sets of push ups together. This song is very popular and is very suitable for some young groups, especially those of primary school and junior high school students. Many parents on the internet have posted videos of their naughty children listening to Reverse War. They are all so enthusiastic. One naughty kid even picked up a chair and knocked over the TV. Very funny. And I don't know if Mother Zhang bought the popularity, but Reverse War was actually named the primary school student divine song of the new generation. It was just a song to be sung for fun. Even Gu Huiyan never thought that this song would become more popular than it should have been. Is there anything if it explodes? From this day on, what the primary school students hummed was no longer their country's "Kun you are so beautiful," but "Kumian is coming against the odds." Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan's current works are really popular. In the past 2 days, Zhang Nuan has received invitations from many professional singers. Gu Huiyan is really a hot potato in the music scene. But a favorite in the music scene, in other places, it has been scolded. It seems that tonight is not all good reviews as usual, there are also some other voices. There was a hot search in the early morning called #feeling sorry for Shang Xuoyan hashtag. The content inside is that Shang Xuoyan was blown up by Gu Huiyan's fried cow dung today. Gu Huiyan slapped bubble gum on her face, and he caused Shang Xuoyan to step on cow dung. Some people say that Gu Huiyan did this too much and disrespected Shang Xuoyan too much. After all, she is a female star. You can just do your usual work and it won't affect people. Then you can also blow up cow dung on people. It's so disgusting. It's so unqualified. Just a small group of people came out to set the pace, and then, who knows what happened, a single spark started a prairie fire, and the comments section looked like this. I saw that the whole job before was okay or at least interesting, so I put up with it. This fried cow dung is really too much. She is a female star after all. I've long disliked this guy, and I've never been embarrassed to say it. I really don't know what those people are bragging about. A person who is rustic all day long has no education, no quality, and no respect for others. Is this kind of person worthy of being an artist? It feels like he was promoted by the capital behind the scenes. There is no one who is trending on searches every day. This popularity must have been bought. Shang Xuoyan is also very tolerant. He was covered in cow dung and didn't fall out with him. If only I wouldn't have recorded it at that time. Since Gu Huiyan recorded the show, many people have indeed scolded him, but many of them are just joking and not really scolding him. In the past few days, he has always been very popular. When you are popular, there are nice things around you. It is very comfortable to shout "little teacher Gu" one after another, and you can't hear any unpleasant words at all. But today, all these ugly words came out in one go through the incident of Shang Xuoyan was bombed with cow dung. People who say that Gu Huiyan has no qualities, people who say that he is uneducated, people who say that he is disrespectful, people who say that he does this and that. The whole thing is out. Some people even said that I didn't like him from the beginning. I saw a group of people constantly complimenting him, so I was embarrassed to say it. In short, you can see countless comments scolding Gu Huiyan under the hot search topic #feeling sorry for Shang Xuoyan hashtag. Obviously, in other places, everyone thinks that he is down to earth, that this kid is down to earth, that he is talented, and so on. When I opened other comment sections about the video, there were praises everywhere. But when I opened the topic related to this hot search, there are all curses below, each one more unpleasant than the last. At this time, if you send a sentence like "I know the two of you are quite familiar, it's okay for us to be joking around," or "the real owner doesn't care what rats you and the dog here are doing," etc., you will find that nothing is displayed at all. Not coming out. Obviously there is a navy setting the pace. How can I put this into words? There is indeed someone who sets the pace. If that person becomes popular, he will definitely feel bad about it. The company has opponents, so it is normal to smear him. But what Gu Huiyan did seemed to be a bit excessive. Even after Zhang Ma saw the relevant hot search the next morning, she couldn't help but wonder, should she really tell Gu Huiyan to control things a little bit? He didn't think much about it, but he was an artist and a public figure now, and what he did would always be discussed by countless people, so he had to pay more or less attention to his words and deeds. He is no longer a barefoot amateur who is not afraid of wearing shoes. It's worth mentioning that I don't know if it was really like a single spark starting a prairie fire, but the topic hashtag feeling sorry for Shangzhuoyan hashtag was highly liked, and by the next morning even the popularity of reverse war has not affected it. This is probably the first time Gu Huiyan has been exposed online in a real sense. It may have been too smooth all along. The things Gu Huiyan did were praised everywhere, and the diehards in the entertainment industry never had the chance to express their opinions. This time, I probably took this opportunity to complain about all the village spirit things that Gu Huiyan did. The matter itself is not a big deal, but some people can't stand it and take it online, causing the situation to get worse. Otherwise, let him leave for a few days temporarily so that he can also record songs and get the endorsement deal done. In terms of time, he will almost be able to assist in the Time Singer. Gu Huiyan's assistant Zhang Nuan suggested this. Gu Huiyan has also been doing some work in the past few days. He has to record Reverse War, and then he also has an endorsement for Data Line, as well as several sets of commercials. He will have to go to Time Singer to attend rehearsals for at least one day off in between. It means that Gu Huiyan can leave today. Let's avoid the limelight for now. At this time, if you appear in front of the camera and do crazy work, those people will not give you a black eye. It can only be the. Zhang Ma curled her lips, and there was a hint of cruelty in the depths of her eyes. Gu Huiyan was the biggest surprise to her in the past few years. Whoever messed with Gu Huiyan was messing with her. She would definitely help Gu Huiyan get out of this bad mood later. Now. I'll just aggrieve him for now. Leaving today. When Gu Huiyan got up in the morning and learned that he was leaving at the last minute, he was actually a little confused. He heard last night that he was going to support Pei Jingshu in Singer of the Times, but the problem was that he wouldn't leave so early, right? Zhang Nuan briefly told Gu Huiyan what happened on the hot search topic. Is it that serious? Gu Huiyan scratched his head. He said that he didn't think much about it at the time. When he went out to play with friends during the Chinese New Year in his hometown 2 years ago, he fried cow dung. Besides, he thought he was quite familiar with Shangzhuoyan. Although Shangzhuoyan was I got angry and didn't say anything afterward. He thought it was a joke, but it seemed like it was indeed done. Let's avoid the limelight first. Zhang Nuan told Gu Huiyan that they were flying in the afternoon, and the flight was temporarily scheduled. The time might not be so early, otherwise Zhang Ma might not allow Gu Huiyan to participate in today's recording. This is actually a disguised form of protection for him. Okay. Gu Huiyan never thought that he would leave so soon. Speaking of which, after coming here, Gu Huiyan really felt a sense of belonging. After a long time, not only did he call this place his home, it would also become an apartment. He fell into love with the bed in this room. Notifying him all of a sudden that he was leaving in the afternoon was really not something he was used to. After returning to the room, Gu Huiyan also turned on his phone and took a look at the topics related to fried cow dung and found that many people below were scolding him very unpleasantly. Yes, maybe Gu Huiyan is careless and doesn't care. He is big-hearted and never cares what others say about him. But when you see someone scolding you for being unqualified, uneducated, and disrespectful, your mentality will always be affected. I also wonder, do I really not respect Shangzhuoyan anymore? It seems that they have become too familiar with Shangzhuoyan recently and regard Shangzhuoyan as a buddy. Gu Huiyan didn't even realize this problem. Of course, it's not too much to say that. Some people say that Gu Huiyan and Shangzhuoyan are covered in cow dung, but it is clear that it is only a little bit accidentally splashed on his hands. Some people said that it was dangerous for Gu Huiyan to lean against Shangzhuoyan on the horse with his shoes stained with cow dung. What if she fell off the horse? But it was clear that Gu Huiyan's shoes were hanging far away from Shangzhuoyan, and he couldn't even straighten his hand. You can definitely touch it. Gu Huiyan was very measured when he was playing, but he couldn't stand someone who just wanted to go online. Of course, none of this can be explained. Maybe the matter of frying cow dung is a bit excessive, but Gu Huiyan didn't realize it. The key issue is that it is no longer just this matter. Some people also brought up the incident that Gu Huiyan interrupted Su Yuntang's speech many times on the first day when everyone came to eat the A5-Wei beef brought by the actor Su, and thought that Gu Huiyan disrespectful and uneducated. It is obvious that that Gu Huiyan said many times when he was interrupted was mostly spoken simultaneously with the actor Su. They all said that it was Gu Huiyan who interrupted Su Yuntang. Why couldn't it be Su Yuntang who interrupted Gu Huiyan? There are many other things that have been brought out. In short, overnight, Gu Huiyan became the target of public criticism, as if he had stung a hornet's nest. Well. Sighing silently, Gu Huiyan stopped looking. MD was disturbing my mind. Aha! He rubbed his eyes and yawned. He worked all night last night. Not only did he make an arrangement for Pei Jingshu's song, but he also produced a temporary demo. Wasn't this just sent to Pei Jingshu? Zhang Nuan knocked on the door. He was leaving in the afternoon. Of course Gu Huiyan had to clean up now. It didn't matter anything else. He didn't have time to wash the clothes he had worn in the past few days. He had to wash and dry them today, otherwise they might be stinky when he comes back. What's this all about? Gu Huiyan sighed helplessly. Speaking of which, he really didn't know how to face Shang Zuoyan. Let's talk about the plot. In fact, no one will have smooth sailing as an artist. Only after going through ups and downs will you change, and only after being scolded will you know who you really like. This is an entertainment drama after all, and I feel that there is no such thing. Step, the protagonist will never have the cohesion of fans, and if it continues, it will just be people and songs with different popularity. When it comes to some songs, many people can't relate to the protagonist. They are just watching the fun without any real fans, which is not interesting. It's better to create more famous scenes, and we can't keep it grounded here. People will get tired of watching it too much. And we should also prepare for the first real climax of this book. As for some comments and so on, I still say the same thing. I am a very stubborn person. I never care about what others say and ask me to do. I don't care. I can write whatever I want. I am grateful to everyone who can see this. If I can't get here, I can't help it. It's hard to agree with everyone. If you are like me, then I think this matter. Haha, I hope everyone will continue to support me in the future. If there are monthly passes, recommendation tickets, rewards, etc., friends, don't be stingy, just give them all to me. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 128. Gu Huiyan didn't know how to face Shang Zuoyan. In fact, it had something to do with the discussion on the internet, but it had little to do with it. How to say? Wasn't that last night? He was cleaning Shang Zuoyan's shoes. Shang Zuoyan seemed to have misunderstood and thought he liked her, so she said those words and kissed him before leaving. So ambiguous, Gu Huiyan's heartbeat message was not sent to her that night. What would Shang Zuoyan think? Definitely not happy. Gu Huiyan would feel that he was irresponsible. People have kissed you, and you have sent your heartfelt messages to others. What you did is not right in itself, and then there are all those things on the internet. This made Gu Huiyan even more confused about how to face Shang Zuoyan. Fortunately, when he went downstairs, Shang Zuoyan seemed to have almost recovered and went to practice dancing next door. She has been delayed for several days because of the fungus poisoning. She has to catch up on the progress of the past few days, otherwise something will happen when she actually goes on tour. Good morning. The mature sister Xilan got up early. Today she wore a light blue top, a close-fitting off-shoulder style, with a large area of fair and delicate skin on her chest. The lower body is a slit skirt, which vividly outlines the proportions of my sister's beautiful figure. She didn't seem to pay attention to the things on the internet. At the level of Sister Xylan and the movie star Sue, they cultivate themselves and generally pay little attention to things on the internet. Reading those comments too much will also affect their mentality. Morning. Gu Huiyan pursed his lips and smiled. The show had already started. When the cameras showed Gu Huiyan, the barrage didn't seem to be very kind. A group of people are saying, "Hey, isn't this an incompetent brother? Why don't you fry cow dung today?" To be honest, I've never liked him. Being down to earth doesn't mean you are lacking quality. It's so outrageous that it became a wall-to-wall recommendation overnight, and some viewers who wanted to make fun of it didn't know how to speak. Let's take a wait-and-see approach for now. Having said that, Gu Huiyan himself seemed to be in good condition and not affected much. He is quite a carefree person, so if you live under the opinions of others and do whatever others want you to do, then you will die from exhaustion. He wished he could scold those people back. Gu Huiyan still went his own way, took a drink of water, and ran to the kitchen. I found the hand cakes that I brought back yesterday from the refrigerator, and went to bake the cakes with an electric pan. Sister Xylan, do you want to eat? She asked Xylan. Okay. Xylan smiled and went over to watch, and even helped Gu Huiyan get the eggs. After a while, Pei Jingshu also came downstairs. It is worth mentioning that she seemed to be paying attention to things on the internet, so she always looked at Gu Huiyan with a bit of heartache in her eyes. What made her very lucky was that Gu Huiyan seemed to be in good condition and was not affected by what happened online. I also baked hand cakes for her. During the meal, the best actor Su Chen came back from practice. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan baked a hand cake for everyone, and Shang Xuoyan also had a share. Although the best actor Su did not eat it, he still thanked Gu Huiyan. Speaking of which, actor Su's assistant also told him about Gu Huiyan on the internet on his way back just now. His first reaction was to say, "He deserves it. MD has long disliked this village boy, and someone should have scolded him long ago." But then I thought about it, and I realized that Gu Huiyan was actually quite honest. The day he got poisoned by eating fungus, Gu Huiyan carried it down to him from upstairs. When he came back and saw the hand cakes Gu Huiyan baked for him, he couldn't bear it, so he stepped forward and patted Gu Huiyan's shoulder. "What's wrong, bro?" Gu Huiyan was showing off his cakes, thinking something had happened, and turned around to glance at the actor Su. The actor Su opened his mouth but hesitated. Maybe he didn't know what to say, or maybe he was afraid of saying the wrong thing and being misunderstood. You can't cure the interpretation of people on the internet these days. So he didn't say anything, just smiled at Gu Huiyan, nodded, and then went upstairs to wash up. Gu Huiyan was still a little confused. After a while, Shang Xuoyan came back from dance practice. Shang Xuoyan, who had been exercising all morning, was not in good condition. She looked as if her body had been hollowed out. In the past, when she saw Gu Huiyan having breakfast, her eyes lit up. She just came in. "Whenever I smell the aroma of hand cakes, I feel excited." But when she saw Gu Huiyan after coming in, she couldn't help but pout. "Snort." He snorted. Then he stopped eating and turned around and left. She didn't know about things on the internet, she was just a little angry, so last night she thought she had understood Gu Huiyan's thoughts. Why didn't Gu Huiyan's heartbeat message be sent to her? She was obviously looking forward to it. This is really a scumbag. Even though you already know his feelings, you still send his heartfelt messages to others. What do you want Shang Xuoyan to think? I really don't want to pay attention to him. This. Gu Huiyan just wanted to say if you wanted to eat hand cakes, but when he saw her turning around and leaving, the already frozen situation entered the ice age. "What's wrong with you two?" The mature sister Xylan still didn't know why, so she asked. Nothing. Gu Huiyan smiled and waved his hand. At this time, someone was posting the barrage. You've already covered yourself in cow dung. It's strange that people would ignore you. I would never want to see such a disgusting person in my life. It's great that Shang Xuan didn't stop recording. Okay. I feel sorry for her. Gu Huiyan, the shrimp-headed man. This group of people seemed to have forgotten what happened yesterday when Shang Xuan was playing around with Gu Huiyan after he came back, and just assumed that Shang Xuan was angry with Gu Huiyan. In fact, this is normal. Who asked Gu Huiyan to brush Shang Xuan's shoes yesterday after the recording of the program ended? The audience didn't know that there was an error in this, which led everyone to think that Shang Xuan might be angry with Gu Huiyan for exploding cow dung. Gu Huiyan didn't think much about it. After showing off the hand cake in his mouth in a few mouthfuls, he said hello and went upstairs to wash clothes. There is a washing machine downstairs. Most of the clothes can be stuffed into the washing machine. However, Gu Huiyan has a few white tops that cannot be washed clean in the washing machine and have to be washed by hand. After washing the clothes, Gu Huiyan hung them to dry on the rooftop on the second floor. Thinking that I am leaving in the afternoon, I must find someone to help me pack these clothes. So as he went downstairs, he subconsciously shouted, "Hey, Shang Xuan, I might have to leave in the afternoon, my clothes?" Perhaps because he was too familiar, the first person Gu Huiyan subconsciously called was Shang Xuan, asking her to help him put away his clothes. But as he was talking, Gu Huiyan suddenly paused, and something on the internet suddenly came to his mind. "What are you doing downstairs?" Shang Xuan had just finished washing and went downstairs, and was making a cup of coffee when she heard Gu Huiyan calling her with a look of reluctance. She was actually a bit heartless girl. What happened last night was quite sad, but she was also wondering if she might have misunderstood, or if there were other reasons why Gu Huiyan didn't send her a heartbeat message. She actually wanted Gu Huiyan to coax her. But when she turned her head to look over, she and Gu Huiyan looked at each other in mid-air, only to find that Gu Huiyan smiled awkwardly, then turned his gaze away and walked towards Xylin. Said, "Sister Xylin, I may have to leave in the afternoon, and there are some clothes that have just been washed and hung to dry on the second floor. Can you help me collect them after you finish them?" "Ah, of course." The mature Sister Xylin nodded slightly, but then looked back at Shang Xuan blankly, a little confused as to what was going on with Gu Huiyan and Shang Xuan. "We were obviously having so much fun and making noise yesterday, why did this happen overnight?" Not to mention Xylin, Shang Xuan himself was also confused. No. Gu Huiyan didn't send her a heartwarming message last night. It was normal for her to be angry. What was going on with this guy Gu Huiyan? Why did he become a stranger to her? "What are you doing?" At this time, even some of the barrages were a little unbearable, and some people couldn't help but express, "No." Some people wouldn't be so obsessive about it. "The two of us are having such a good time, but it's because of your bullshit that we are so embarrassed now. I'm really convinced. Obviously the real boss doesn't care, but you guys are just like dogs and mice here and feel so sorry for me." Just Gu Huiyan, who is usually very carefree and not polite to anyone, especially Shang Xuan. The two of them have very compatible personalities. They are very lively and can easily become happy friends. Neither of them is too pretentious and they have a lot of fun playing around. But now, if you look at the two of them, what do they look like? When Gu Huiyan was looking for someone to help, the first person he subconsciously looked for was not Pei Jingsha but Shang Xuan. Just now, the scene where Gu Huiyan suddenly stopped talking and turned around to look for Xylin caught some fans off guard. From the time Gu Huiyan participated in the recording of Crystal Love Season to now, everyone has never seen Gu Huiyan like this. For a moment, the words "distressed" filled the entire screen. What's funny is that some guy with his chicken feet exposed actually said that Gu Huiyan was deliberately selling out. Are you leaving this afternoon? At this time, the cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingxu grasped this point very accurately and asked. Ah, yes. Gu Huiyan smiled and said. There's some work to be done. Then when will you come back? Siren on the other side asked. A sister is a sister, and her thinking is very clear. If Gu Huiyan came back in the afternoon, it would definitely mean that he had to do some work in the afternoon, but he said he was leaving in the afternoon, which meant that it might take a few days, or at least he would not be back tonight. I don't know. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and said with a smile. It won't take many days, maybe 3 to 5 days at most. He didn't say he would die. Looking at the situation online, he didn't even know if he could come back. That's it? Xylin nodded lightly and said nothing. She knew that Xiao Gu had been very popular these 2 days, and thought that Gu Huiyan was just busy with work because he was popular. On the other hand, Pei Jingxu, a cold fair-skinned beauty, looked at Gu Huiyan with a slightly heartbroken look, as if she had guessed why he had to leave temporarily. Get out of here. The barrage wasn't very kind either. A group of shrimp-headed men appeared out of nowhere and shouted Gu Huiyan and hurriedly left. Shang Xuan pouted her little mouth, wanting to ask but not knowing how to ask. She was keenly aware that something seemed a little wrong. So she ran to her staff and asked if something was wrong. If you don't ask, you won't know. If you ask, you will be shocked. That's not it. She really didn't expect the hot searches on the internet for feeling sorry for her. She didn't care about what happened yesterday at all. She was a careless person in her daily life, not to mention it was all a joke. She was a little disgusted by the fact that it was dirty and disgusting, but she was so familiar with Gu Huiyan that she didn't care about it. Her character is a bit girly and not too particular. When she participated in variety shows, she was covered in mud and couldn't recognize anyone. She doesn't even care, so why are these people on the internet forcing her to rely on her? Don't tell me you bought the hot search. Shang Xuan's big doll-like eyes widened and she asked her assistant, thinking it was a hot search bought by her own team to create a poor character for her. How could we? The assistant looked innocent. Shang Xuan and Gu Huiyan also collaborated on Calorie, and they also had Android CP. At this time, buying a hot search to criticize Gu Huiyan, there must be something wrong. At first glance, this seems to be some bitter rivals behind the scenes. After Crystal Love Season and Gu Huiyan became popular, many people became jealous. Shang Xuan frowned, and she asked why Gu Huiyan suddenly stopped talking to her in the middle of the conversation just now. Sure enough, there was a reason. Should we issue a statement to clarify? The assistant asked. Now Gu Huiyan was affected by this incident and was put online by some people, which forced him to temporarily leave the show to avoid the limelight. They must help clarify, otherwise if Zhang Dan mistakenly thinks that they bought the hot search, then the misunderstanding will be huge. It must be sent, Shang Xuan said. The assistant had already edited the copy and planned to send it out, but just as he was about to send it out, he suddenly thought of something and said to Shang Xuan. I feel like we're not in a good position now. Ah, Shang Xuan was confused. Why? Because you were in front of the camera just now and that wasn't. The assistant told Shang Xuan what happened to Gu Huiyan in front of the camera just now. It probably means that you didn't care about Huiyan in front of the camera just now, and you looked angry. Many people who were in charge of the rhythm were originally staring at this matter, and now they are even adding fuel to the fire. Say you just care about being fried with cow dung and so on. If you issue a statement to clarify at this time, saying that you don't care much and are not angry with Gu Huiyan at all, those netizens will definitely not believe it. It must be said that it was because the capital behind Gu Huiyan put pressure on you, forcing you to issue a clarification statement and so on. At that time, not only will they not believe your words, they will also feel sorry for you even more. I even thought about what those people would say to the assistant, and they would definitely say, Shangzhuoyan, if you are threatened, just blink. Sometimes, if you don't say it, others will believe it. This is also the reason why many celebrities and artists subconsciously choose to treat it coldly without replying when encountering something. People may not believe you when you reply, and they may make your reply darker and darker. If you don't reply, the internet is fast-paced nowadays and there is something new every day. People may forget about you in 2 days. If you're lucky and you meet a top-notch guy, he might even be able to block the knife for you. This. Shangzhuoyan originally wanted to say that the reason why she rejected Gu Huayan just now was because of his heartwarming message. This matter can be mentioned. At worst, she will omit the details of her kissing Gu Huayan and asking Gu Huayan if he likes her. It would be nice to have a reason. But then I thought about it. It seemed that Gu Huayan was not photographed cleaning her shoes last night. People say that seeing is believing and hearing is believing. If she said this, would others believe it? It might even be said that she was threatened. So now, she thought Zhou Yan was really powerless in this matter. What should we do then? Shangzhuoyan was so anxious that she cried. If this continues, should she and Gu Huayan draw a clear line and become strangers from now on? There are many people in the entertainment industry who used to have a good relationship and were close to each other. However, due to some public opinions and the comments of some netizens, cracks appeared in the relationship, and then they gradually became strangers. Some people even passed by each other at the event and did not dare to say hello to each other. They only dared to take a sneak look. Shangzhuoyan didn't want to be like that with Gu Huayan. Although Gu Huayan didn't send her heartbeat message last night, she didn't care. This wasn't the first day that Gu Huayan didn't send her heartbeat message. Even if they were just friends, she didn't want to become unfamiliar with Gu Huayan. Don't worry first, their team will definitely have to find a way. The assistant had no choice but to comfort Shangzhuoyan for the time being. Originally, Shangzhuoyan wanted to find Gu Huayan to explain clearly, but now that the show is being recorded, she had to be exposed to the audience's view in the past. The live show is so disgusting, exposing them to the audience's view and quarrels in real time. What left Shangzhuoyan speechless the most was that the program team came to inform her that she, Xylin, and Su Yuntang had been arranged to go to the hospital for review. Wasn't it because they were poisoned by eating fungi a few days ago? They seem to be recovering well these days, but it's not clear whether there are any hidden dangers left in their bodies. Check it out and you will have some idea. The appointment was with a big hospital, which was quite far away from here, so I had to come back at night. Gu Huayan was leaving in the afternoon, which meant that they might not be able to see Gu Huayan when they came back, and they wouldn't even be able to say goodbye. Shangzhuoyan originally didn't want to go, but her assistant told her that they would protect Gu Huayan now by not being in the same room. In fact, Shangzhuoyan and the team should know what the show crew means. In this situation, no matter what you say or do, it is easy to be overinterpreted by interested people. It is better to separate for the time being, not to be together, and let Gu Huayan leave first. Stay out of the limelight. It's not like he won't come back. He will definitely come back after the rhythm has calmed down in the past 2 days. There is still some time before the recording of their show ends. Although she was very reluctant, Shangzhuoyan got into the car with Xylin and Su Yuntang for a physical examination without saying hello to Gu Huayan. In the small courtyard, only Pei Jingshu and Gu Huayan were left. And as long as she thought about Gu Huayan leaving just after she came back, Pei Jingshu was not very happy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 129. I'm really fine, Mom. Who did you hear that something was wrong with me? Those people are making up nonsense, do you believe this? Okay, okay, I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm packing my things here. I have to leave in the afternoon, so hurry up and get busy. Hey, you said it's work, so you can't take temporary leave if you have work. When did you care about me so much, my dear mother? In the room. Gu Huiyan originally went upstairs to pack his things, but he got a call from home. Gu Huiyan is a single-parent family. His father died of illness a few years ago. In addition to him and his mother Wang Hui, there is a younger brother named Guzun who is in junior high school. His family opened a fried skewers shop on the pedestrian street of the small county town. After Gu Huiyan became popular a few days ago, his family's fried skewers shop was also exposed. From that day on, it was busy and busy. Not only has it become a local internet celebrity check-in point, the business volume of the entire pedestrian street has also increased, and even the passenger flow of small counties has increased accordingly. Although Gu Huiyan was involved in public opinion last night, there were still many customers in the store today, but occasionally some customers would talk to Gu's mother about things online. In fact, Gu Ma has also heard some of the things on the internet. This is how my family is. They don't care about you when you are good and are silently happy for you. When you have some problems, they will always care about you as soon as possible. Look. At this moment, Gu Huiyan was a little helpless. He joked that I was so popular a few days ago that the threshold of our store was almost broken. You made that old nose money and you didn't even bother to call me to thank me. At this moment, he remembered that there was another person. My son is here? Gu Ma laughed and said, how can a mother not worry about her children? Isn't it because you are busy with work and are afraid that you won't have time to call me? And no matter how much money you make, isn't it just for you two brothers? You are about to get a wife. The mother and son chatted back and forth, and the video was on. Seeing Gu Huiyan's careless look, Gu's mother felt relieved. Maybe he was so absorbed in chatting that Gu Huiyan didn't notice Pei Jingshu going upstairs. Dong dong. Pei Jingshu, the cold white-skinned beauty standing at the door, raised her jade hand and gently knocked on the door, making a sound to remind Gu Huiyan. Today, Pei Jingshu wore a pure white gauze dress with blue butterflies embroidered on it. It was very thin and beautiful, and it stuck to her fair and delicate skin, giving off a gentle and watery temperament. Her long black hair was tied straight up and tied around the back of her head, tied by a very fine and beautiful hairpin. Viewed from the side, the almost perfect head-to-neck and head-to-shoulder ratios were extremely moving. Oh, please come in. When Gu Huiyan saw Pei Jingshu, he naturally invited her in. Is there anything I can do to help? Everyone in the small courtyard had left, only Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan were left. Others had to be re-examined for fungus poisoning, so of course they didn't need to go with them if they were fine. If you can help me with this, it's all mine. Gu Huiyan said very casually. Who are you talking to on the phone? Pei Jingshu asked. When she first went upstairs, she heard that Gu Huiyan was talking to someone on the phone. It seemed to be a girl. She actually didn't know Gu Huiyan that well, at least she didn't know his circle of friends at all. So there will be a sense of strangeness and intimidation. Oh, it's my mother. Gu Huiyan hadn't hung up the phone yet, so he answered casually. Oh, it turns out to be Aunt. Pei Jingshu breathed a sigh of relief. Gu Huiyan originally wanted to say that there was a GoPro at the show recording site. Maybe the director didn't cut the camera, but it wasn't easy to talk to the family. I just wanted to hang up the phone. As a result, Pei Jingshu took the initiative and said, well, let me say hello to Auntie. Her two bony and slender jade hands were somehow gently entangled and hanging in front of her body, as if she was a little reserved, and she was so nervous that she clasped her hands. Of course, she didn't really mean to get familiar with Gu Huiyan's family, but she felt that since they bumped into each other, She must say hello. This is the most basic courtesy. Pei Jingshu's upbringing at home made her unwilling to ask for not even having this bit of courtesy. Is it convenient for you? Gu Huiyan was still a little cautious. Why is it inconvenient? Pei Jingshu smiled softly. Gu Huiyan nodded and told the mother in the video in dialect that Pei Jingshu wanted to say hello to her. Then Pei Jingshu came into the frame. Pei Jingshu adjusted her manners, waved her hand politely and elegantly and said to Gu's mother. Hello, Aunt, I am Pei Jingshu. Gu Huiyan thought that his mother probably didn't know Pei Jingshu. Most of the middle-aged people in their age group cared about daily necessities, and younger celebrities rarely knew her. Oh hello, hello. But what surprised Gu Huiyan was that Gu's mother actually knew Pei Jingshu, and said when greeting her. This girl looks pretty when I see her on TV. Her skin is so white. At first, Gu Huiyan thought that Gu's mother was simply complimenting her, but who knew that she immediately said to Gu Huiyan. Look at how dark you are in the same scene as me. Why have you been so dark recently? Gu Huiyan. Pook. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but laugh. She helped Gu Huiyan explain. Auntie, it's because the ultraviolet rays are heavy here, so he doesn't need sunscreen to get a tan. Sunscreen. Gu Ma frowned after hearing this, thought for a while, and then said with a look of realization. Oh, it's sunscreen, right? And that sun protective clothing and stuff. Pei Jingshu didn't know how to explain it for a while, but suddenly she felt for a moment that Gu Huiyan really looked like his mother. It is not difficult to see that Gu Ma hardly comes into contact with this kind of thing in her daily life. Since he has not been exposed to it since he was a child, it is no wonder that Gu Huiyan rarely uses it. Okay, no more chatting. I have to pack my things quickly. I'll call you later. Gu Huiyan didn't let the two of them talk anymore, he just said a few words and hung up the phone. He packed his things. Pei Jingshu wanted to help, but had no chance to intervene. She had to sit on the terrace by the window and watch Gu Huiyan clean up. Gu Huiyan is really a very domestic man. When he packs his suitcase, he doesn't stuff it in casually, but organizes everything and puts it in a specific location. Can you always stay here with me? It felt a bit unnatural to be stared at by Pei Jingshu, so Gu Huiyan asked while stuffing things into the suitcase. He wanted to say that there were only two of them in the small courtyard. His current situation was one, everyone pushed him against the wall. In this case, Pei Jingshu still stayed with him. Isn't he afraid of problems? In other words, wouldn't her team, assistant, or manager's sister call her to avoid suspicion? It does not matter. Pei Jingshu seemed gentle, and her facial features were not offensive in any way, but her watery eyes were filled with determination. Indeed, when Shang Zuoyan and the others were sent to the car for re-examination, her manager's sister Pei Ya also told her to stay away from Gu Huiyan today and don't let his current situation affect you. But Pei Jingshu didn't care. She felt that now was the time when Gu Huiyan needed someone. They were the only two in the small courtyard. If she didn't take the initiative to approach Gu Huiyan, how lonely he would be. The more times like this, the more she wants to give Gu Huiyan all the warmth she can. Well, perhaps it was because Pei Jingshu was too persistent that Zhang Dan considered it as a gift to the starry couple. He gave the camera to Shang Zuoyan and the others who were going for re-examination, but not to this side. At this time, Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan were as relaxed and natural as they were getting along in private. Impressed. On the other hand, Pei Jingshu's agent's sister looked at the direction of the second floor with a speechless face. Pei Jingshu is such a love brain, she really has nothing to say. It was okay to have to care about Huiyan before. Although this kid was a slut and not a serious person, and she didn't like him very much, he didn't have any big flaws. But he is behind bars right now. Are you stupid if you get close to him now? A moth flies into a flame. Are you here? I have to explain something to you. Pei Ya happened to be at Zhang Dan's side, and she said to Zhang Dan. Given Gu Huiyan's current situation, we are not sure whether the Time singer will allow him to be a supporting guest. Yesterday, she settled the matter and told Time singer that there should be no problem in itself. Their Pei Pei takes care of CP can be used as the biggest traffic gimmick to promote. But who made Gu Huiyan collapse overnight? In this case, the opposite program team really had to decide whether he should be used. Yes, we choose our own guests, but they also have to be reviewed by other people's program teams. You can't say that if you find a bad artist, we can also use it, right? Do not make jokes. Zhang Dan nodded. She had a headache. She felt that the rhythm last night had brought her to this moment, and she really wanted to ruin Gu Huiyan. Speaking of which, she felt that this wave of Gu Huiyan might have touched some people's cake. The village spirit things he did in the show had created a wave of pragmatic trends. This some celebrity artists who focus on being high class may be affected and criticized. A few days ago, some people even said in the comment area of some videos of Gu Huiyan getting done that all the artists in the entertainment industry are too pretentious. Even some particularly high-end luxury brands will have their sales affected. So maybe it's a bit outrageous. But there is no way, Gu Huiyan is taking this route. It was better before, but now Gu Huiyan is becoming more and more popular and his influence is getting higher and higher. He has changed the tastes and concepts of many audiences. The next step may really cause conflicts for many artists. I'm afraid that the entire entertainment industry will be forced to be down to earth because of him, forming a reverse involution trend. Having said that, if none of the assistant actors in Singer of the Times can go, it's hard to say where Gu Huiyan's next exposure resource will be. Maybe the only way to go back is to hold back a high-quality album to release a big move. Zhang Dan thought for a while and replied to Pei Ya. Ask Pei Jingshu what she thinks. Should I say it or not? Mother Zhang is really a slut and draws the fire to Pei Jingshu. If Pei Jingshu insists, then there will still be discussions about Gu Huiyan joining the supporting cast in The Time Singer. Pei Ya gritted her teeth at that time, thinking to herself, are you still relying on us? Are you just thinking that my sister Pei Jingshu has a love brain and is easy to bully? Impressed. At noon, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu had lunch together. However, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu were not allowed to do anything. Instead, the program team pointed the way to the two of them. They found a small restaurant in the village and went to a restaurant. After coming back, it was getting late. Assistant Zhang Nuan came up to help get things. Gu Huiyan also tidied up a little before planning to leave. At this time, the camera finally returned to Gu Huiyan. See you later. At the door of the crystal courtyard, Gu Huiyan stood there carrying a large suitcase. Pei Jingshu stood behind him. Gu Huiyan opened his arms, and Pei Jingshu hugged him very cooperatively. There is not much intimacy, nor much ambiguity, just a farewell between friends with distance. Are you leaving now? Ah! Shrimp-headed man, get out of here. Hitui. Speak politely, I have been displeased with you people for a long time. The barrage keeps coming, some good and some bad. The rhythm that started last night has almost reached its peak now. Gone. The assistant and driver were already waiting at the door, and the small items had been brought to the car. Gu Huiyan carried the largest suitcase without asking for help, and carried it by himself. He was dressed simply as when he arrived. He was still wearing the familiar big pants and white t-shirt. His whole body was probably worth a few hundred yuan in total. The difference was that he no longer had flip-flops on his feet. It was not easy to wear flip-flops to the airport. Have a safe journey, see you later. At this time, Pei Jingshu naively thought that she and Gu Huiyan would be able to meet backstage at Time Singer in a few days. She was wearing a very beautiful bracelet on her hand, and it made a clattering sound when she waved goodbye to Gu Huiyan. Looking at Gu Huiyan's back, for some reason, Pei Jingzhu, the program team, and the audience all felt inexplicably sad. During this period of time, Gu Huiyan really brought them a lot of joy. Maybe the cow dung frying thing yesterday was a bit excessive, but in fact, it was not at all promoted to the current level. In fact, many people still can't understand why Gu Huiyan was forced to pause the recording. At this time, the program team was very considerate and good at troubleshooting. They played a clip from Gu Huiyan's work at Diao as Gu Huiyan left. Unfortunate fate, obsession is indifferent. Farewell to youth, countless stations. Being willing to be ordinary but unwilling to accept it, the ordinary rots. I don't know why, but when listening to this song, some viewers felt the urge to cry, and they really couldn't bear to leave Gu Huiyan. Let's go. Gu Huiyan is neat. In fact, it doesn't matter if he doesn't come back this time. Anyway, he has made a name for himself. With his current popularity and the existence of the system, he will be able to do well in the future. If nothing else works, MD will have to go to the system mall to exchange for the most dazzling ethnic style and go the square dance route, and he can't believe that he won't be able to make a career and have nothing to eat. He didn't make any principled mistakes. The car started slowly and left Yongzi village. Looking at the receding scenery, to be honest, Gu Huiyan was really a little emotional. He never thought he would leave so soon. When passing by the entrance of the village, Gu Huiyan saw the rookie inn at the entrance of the village. Oh yes. Only then did he remember that he seemed to have bought a volcanic stone sausage delivered by express delivery. He bought it yesterday morning before going to the race course. It seemed that it had been shipped now. I asked someone to help collect the clothes, and it looks like I need help picking up the express delivery. So Gu Huiyan opened the V letter. They had a group for Crystal Love Season and everyone was in it. Gu Huiyan directly sent a voice message in the group. Shangzhuoyan, my courier, walk. Gu Huiyan was used to asking Shangzhuoyan for help again, so he sent it with a swipe of his hand. This voice message was really inconvenient and it was hard to cancel. He had no choice but to withdraw quickly and then sent another voice message saying, Sister Xylan, I have a courier that may arrive in 2 days. Could you please pick it up for me? After sending it out, he gave Siren a look. What makes Gu Huiyan quite fortunate is that the guests at the Crystal Courtyard seem to have not changed much in their attitude towards him. In terms of change, the actor Su has changed, but he has not become worse, but has become better. This makes Gu Huiyan a little confused, he is not used to it, and he is a bit flattered. The other side. In the car coming back from the hospital. Shangzhuoyan was sitting in the car. She had just been texting a friend and wanted to see if there was any room for maneuver between her and Gu Huiyan. Either the pressure is too high, or you can find someone in the same industry to block the knife for him. At this time, she suddenly saw a message from Gu Huiyan in their Crystal Love Season group chat. As she clicked in and was listening, she was a little surprised when she heard Gu Huiyan calling her, but before she could finish listening, Gu Huiyan withdrew immediately. Shangzhuoyan, who was still confused at first, saw the second Xylan's voice message sent by Gu Huiyan, and then realized with some confusion that this seemed to be the same thing as hanging clothes during the day. That moment. For some reason, Shangzhuoyan felt very uncomfortable. It's like that kind of good friend who usually talks about everything, but suddenly wants to avoid suspicion even after chatting all day long, and then withdraws immediately. She admitted it in front of the camera before, but now in private group chat, is it really so difficult for you to tell me? The more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she became, and tears began to gather in Shangzhuoyan's eyes. Gu Huiyan should have left by now. Indeed. At this moment, Gu Huiyan has left Yongzi village and is about to arrive at the airport. After returning home, you have to record songs, shoot commercials, and make endorsements. You are still working for both young and old, and it is all about making money. If you ask Gu Huiyan if he feels uncomfortable, he really doesn't seem to feel uncomfortable. He just thinks that he is going back to work for a few days. How can he be so exaggerated? Fortunately, these endorsements and advertisements were not affected. They probably thought that this was just a storm that would pass quickly, so they should be optimistic about Gu Huiyan. Of course, maybe you signed the contract and don't want to pay liquidated damages. On the way, Gu Huiyan took another look at the rhythm of the hot search and found that it was still very exaggerated. This made him feel not very good. Normally when he opened the hot search, even if it wasn't a compliment, it would be full of ha ha ha. It felt like overnight, why did so many people start scolding him? This made him feel a little hesitant to face Diren for a moment when he got out of the car. Did Diren feel like he would scold him when he saw him offline? It is worth mentioning that as soon as Gu Huiyan got off the bus, a group of people gathered around the airport. Gu Huiyan was startled and thought he was going to hit him. But what Gu Huiyan didn't expect was this turned out to be a group of fans. Gu Huiyan, come on, we support you. Don't be sad. Online fans meet Gu Huiyan every day, but this is the first time for offline fans. Some of them were holding flowers, some were holding gifts, and some were holding envelopes, etc., and they all stuffed them into Gu Huiyan's hands. None of them asked for autographs or photos, they all seemed to be comforting him. Is this the legendary fan airport pickup? Gu Huiyan asked his assistant Zhang Nuan. Zhang Nuan silently held his forehead and corrected. This is called a drop-off. Oh. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and asked again. Then this shouldn't be the shill you're looking for, right? Zhang Nuan. Aim. Why does it feel like Gu Huiyan doesn't have any clear understanding and confidence in himself now? Can't you really have offline fans to support you? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 130. Come on Gu Huiyan. Don't care what they say. We think you're great. In the past, when Gu Huiyan saw some fans talking to their idols at the airport, he always felt a little greasy and numb. In fact, Gu Huiyan still feels like this at this moment. But when you look at the sincere faces and the love in the eyes, you will feel inexplicably a little touched. This is a real person offline, not an online comment. No, this really isn't the shill you're looking for. Gu Huiyan thought this was a shill bought by the company to whitewash him, and he was afraid that he was moved in vain. Maybe it was because he became famous too quickly and for a short period of time, and he never left Yongzi village very often, so Gu Huiyan never thought that he would have so many supporters and fans. Definitely not. Zhang Nuan rolled his eyes. Then how did they know about my itinerary? Gu Huiyan scratched his head. Nonsense. Zhang Nuan said while protecting Gu Huiyan. Crystal Love Season is a live broadcast. There is only one airport in Dali. If you don't come here, where would you come? This is true. Some people's fans' airport pickup and drop-offs deliberately revealed the flight for show, but Gu Huiyan's was purely exposed through the live broadcast. All right. Gu Huiyan chuckled. Although he was a little uncomfortable, he still responded to his fans as enthusiastically as possible. When he arrived, Gu Huiyan came out of this airport. At that time, he was alone, carrying a suitcase, and came here carefree. At that time, no one knew him. At most, there was a girl from Deer who thought he was handsome and wanted a V letter. Keywords like star and artist were not associated with him at all. But look at it now. He also has assistants, staff, and even fans who come to the airport to see him off. Those who sent gifts and envelopes one by one, the one who gave Gu Huiyan was a little flattered. Speaking of which, when he and Pei Jingshu went to the ancient city to eat rice noodles in the morning, Deer people often recognized Pei Jingshu. At that time, Gu Huiyan was a little envious, but he did not expect that now he would be surrounded by others' enthusiasm. Looking at their faces, they were actually quite unfamiliar, but their kindness and the distress in their eyes made him feel very close. This was something Gu Huiyan had never experienced before, and many people may not have the opportunity to experience it in their lifetime. A feeling of thanks, thanks. Thank you all. I'll take it if you believe it. If you want flowers, take them too, and then don't let go of the expensive ones. Don't worry about me, do you think I'm in trouble? Haha. Hey, thank you, thank you. Gu Huiyan thanked him while picking up what he could. It's not easy for anyone to make money these days, so he's very grateful for supporting him. If you say you can write a letter, you can charge it. After all, the cost is not high, and the main thing is to have one intention. You can also collect the flowers. If you don't collect these things since they bought them, it's hard to give them to others. These are consumables that are easily wasted. On the contrary, it's some valuables, so you really can't ask for them. It's actually easier for Gu Huiyan to make money than them. He can make tens or even millions just by writing a song, so why would he want other people's valuables? All the way into the airport, there was a bustling crowd, and they kept shouting to Gu Huiyan to keep going and not to care about what was said on the internet. This made Gu Huiyan quite touched. In fact, watching the rhythm of hot searches on the road still affected my mentality a little, but when they got off the car, they were so enthusiastic. The contrast made Gu Huiyan relax. So in fact, in many cases, online and offline are two different things. Online can scold a celebrity as worthless, and also say greasy things about this and that. But when many people offline see that celebrity, they may think that he is in good condition, not greasy at all, and has a good personality. Just like Gu Huiyan, if you open the relevant hot search now, all of them will scold him for being disrespectful, uneducated, and polite. Can it be offline? They are all people who are afraid that he will be affected and come to support him. For a moment, Gu Huiyan felt that the online and offline worlds were two different worlds. How could there be malicious intentions online and good intentions offline? The fans at the airport were sent to Gu Huiyan through the security check, and before entering the security check, Gu Huiyan carried a lot of things. Although none of the items collected were very valuable, they were all fans' wishes, and they were precious firsts. Gu Huiyan couldn't bear to throw any of them away, and there was no room left to grab anything else. It is worth mentioning that he also went to the airport to check in all the gifts. There was no need to check in the few things that belonged to him. He and his assistant just took some and got on the plane. Why did they spend the shipping money? As a result, I received a bunch of gifts and couldn't take them anymore, so I decided to just get them all together. Bye bye. Come on. Goodbye. Gu Huiyan, you have to be happy. At the security gate, Gu Huiyan said goodbye to his fans and boarded the plane. Originally, because Gu Huiyan stayed up all night arranging and demoing Pei Jingshu's song last night, he felt a little sleepy on the way here. He also planned to put on earplugs and sleep after getting on the plane. But I don't know if those fans were moved, but Gu Huiyan didn't feel sleepy when he got on the plane. Assistant Zhang Nuan had a bunch of envelopes in her hand, which seemed to be letters written to Gu Huiyan by the fans just now. Gu Huiyan opened a few of them and took a look at them. To be honest. Be honest. It's a little greasy. Most of the letters written by fans to their idols are from the heart, of course. It doesn't matter if you read it yourself, but it will definitely feel greasy if you let others read it. The inner drama can never be seen by others. However, Gu Huiyan felt their love and support between the lines. In the past, he always saw those top people who went out and were surrounded by all kinds of support, but he never thought that this day would happen to him. Originally, Gu Huiyan was not in a particularly good mood that day. Don't forget that on the surface, he didn't seem to have changed. He was still going his own way, but that was just the surface. Who could be in a good mood after being scolded all over the internet and forced to suspend the recording of the program? Ah! Do not make jokes. That's just the way he is. No matter how uncomfortable he feels in his heart, he won't show it to others and affect others. And until this moment, when he saw those who supported him and their words, Gu Huiyan felt an inexplicable feeling of strength surging out of his body, and he began to slowly stop caring about the comments on the internet. As an artist, in this era, what you do will be exposed to the audience's view all the time. There is everything on the fast-paced internet. After all, there is no need to be responsible for making a comment, and sometimes what they say is irrelevant. It must be their innermost thoughts. Difficult to reach. There will always be people who like what you do and people who don't. Gu Huiyan may have just seen the overwhelming curses on the hot searches now, but a few days ago, the hot searches he posted every day were all compliments. People can't just see malice, they must also be good at looking for good intentions. If you don't adjust your mentality well, you won't be an artist. Gu Huiyan left. It seemed that someone's cake had really been touched. The trend of the hot search was very loud, and some people began to discuss whether people like Gu Huiyan were suitable to appear in the entertainment industry. Those previous compliments that said Gu Huiyan was down to earth, a very nice young man, and my internet talker seemed to have suddenly disappeared from the world. Except for the barrage comment section of the Crystal Love Season show, which occasionally showed some people feeling sorry for Gu Huiyan, everyone else seemed to be scolding him. Speaking of Crystal Love Season, one thing I have to say is that with Gu Huiyan's departure, the traffic of the show began to decline cliff-like. When this show was first created, the highlight was not Gu Huiyan, but Pei Jingshu, Shang Zuoyan, and the rest of the group, and Gu Huiyan was just there to make up the numbers. But who made Gu Huiyan's aesthetics of violence too brainwashing? So in fact, Gu Huiyan is the only and biggest highlight of this show now. It can almost be said that he alone supports this show. Because of his various crazy tricks, this show has drawn a clear line and distanced itself from other high-end shows that feature artists. Distance. There are hot searches every day, and many dear people come to watch from hot searches. Well, now that Gu Huiyan is gone, no one is left to take care of the work. Crystal Love Season seems to be no different from ordinary variety shows, so what else is there to watch? A decline in traffic is also normal. But what people may not expect is that the degree of decline is a bit scary. By night, the number of people online at the same time in the Crystal Love Season live broadcast room was less than half of the previous number. The traffic volume throughout the day was higher because Gu Huiyan was still there in the morning, but this situation will not necessarily change tomorrow. One netizen said something particularly appropriate in the comment area. Gu Huiyan, this family will have to break up without you. As a result, Jiang's mother had to call Zhang Shuo overnight to communicate and ask him if he could come back to support him. Our Zhang PD is not good at other things, but his traffic control is sufficient. He is the top male idol in domestic entertainment. His fans alone are enough to support the show. That means letting his fans support his appearance. Zhang Shuo didn't want to come back. MD made Gu Huiyan so disgusting, and none of the female guests liked him. Are they here to be a green leaf for Gu Huiyan? But when he heard that Gu Huiyan was gone, his eyes immediately lit up, and then Zhang Dan said that he could help him find another female guest to help him with CP marketing. Zhang Shuo and the team thought about it. No one would hate Gu Huiyan anymore after he left. Shang Zuoyan, Pei Jingshu, Xylin, and the program team agreed to help him add one more female guest who would specialize in CP marketing for him. The four as a female guest, he and the actor Su are divided. They have less wolf and more meat. Isn't this a pie in the sky? So we arranged the work overnight, and the next day our PD Zhang directly officially announced his return. With the traffic he brings, new guests will join soon. In fact, Crystal Love Season can still resist it. But Gu Huiyan's side. But it's a little sad. The Time singer responded, maybe, they don't want him to be a supporting guest. Pei communicated with Zhang the next night. The rhythm is too big, and there are some behind-the-scenes capital who have been passive in the cake to make things happen, and it feels like squeezing Gu Huiyan to death. This wave directly wants to block Gu Huiyan so that he can't come out again. Well. Zhang Dan sighed. Sure enough, although endorsements and advertisements were not affected, the announcements of appearances in a short period of time may indeed be impossible. In fact, she also hoped that Gu Huiyan would go to Time Singer to make a comeback. She was able to make some connections, but she still felt like she was missing something. Just at this time, Pei Jingshu came down from practicing her voice upstairs. Zhang Dan's eyes lit up when he saw her. Jingshu. In front of Pei Ya, Zhang Dan called Pei Jingshu and asked Pei Jingshu if she knew about Singer of the Times. Pei Jingshu was stunned for a moment, and the corner of Pei Ya's mouth twitched. She actually didn't want to tell Pei Jingshu, mainly because she was afraid that she would fall in love, but she didn't expect Zhang Dan to still use Pei Jingshu as a life-saving straw. To be honest, at this pace, even if Pei Jingshu insists, the Singer of the Times program team may not necessarily use Gu Huiyan. In fact, artists don't have that much say, not to mention that Pei Jingshu only has big traffic and her fashion status is not that high. The entertainment industry is also ranked based on seniority. Pei Jingshu should also know this, she can't change anything. But what Pei Yan never expected was. After hearing this, Pei Jingshu thought for a moment and said to her. If he doesn't go, I won't go either. There was nothing unusual in her tone, as calm as water, but her watery eyes were full of determination and unquestionability. As soon as these words came out. Then. Pei Ya stared at Pei Jingshu with an incredulous expression. She stared for a long time, opened her mouth and closed it again. She was unable to say a complete sentence for a long time. Puff. Not even close. Real. Zhang Dan almost laughed out loud. She is so happy. She is so satisfied with Pei Jingshu as her daughter-in-law. She thought that Pei Jingshu would have many reactions to this matter, but she never thought that Pei Jingshu would be so determined. This is truly true love between her and Gu Huiyan. Pei Jingshu. Come with me. In front of Zhang Dan, Pei Ya couldn't really scold Pei Jingshu, so she had to glare at Zhang Dan, then took Pei Jingshu aside and explained the pros and cons to her. But no matter what she said, Pei Jingshu just said that she wouldn't go if Gu Huiyan didn't go. You will offend a lot of people, you know. Pei Ya was going crazy. Gu Huiyan's current situation was obviously that some people wanted to block him. He could only keep a low profile and avoid the limelight. Whoever stood with him at this time would definitely be the one who was suppressed together. Pei Jingshu has a bright future now. She is beautiful, has good singing skills, has an online reputation, and her fans are very capable. She was stupid to stand with Gu Huiyan at this time. Especially for Time Singer, this program is owned by Orange Channel, and they have great careers. You can't stop recording it just because you say you don't want to record it. Pei Jingshu is now in charge of traffic on Singer of the Times, and the guest support session is the biggest attraction and gimmick of the entire program besides the singer competition. If you stop recording at this time, do you know how much damage it will cause to the show? It has affected the program, can you bear this responsibility? Don't talk about Gu Huiyan then, you yourself will be banned. There have been examples like this in the past. A male singer who was a talent show winner caused trouble and temporarily stopped coming to the New Year's Eve party, causing confusion during the New Year's Eve. The hosts were stunned and continued to talk for more than 10 minutes on stage, which was embarrassing. After that, the male singer who was a talent show champion was directly banned for more than 10 years. More than 10 years. That's still a male artist. Pei Jingshu is a female artist, and she is a female artist who takes the good looks route. After being banned for more than 10 years, you are no longer young and old. You are still the white moonlight and internal entertainment beauty now. Pei Jingshu. Why can't you figure this out? Pei Ya just doesn't understand. The stakes are so clear, why do you have to be so bound to him? What's so good about this country boy that makes you so determined to help him? What left Pei Ya most speechless was that no matter what she said, Pei Jingshu just said one word. If he doesn't go, I won't go either. Pei Ya is so angry. This damn love brain. She coaxed and lied, and even said that she might not object to Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan, or that she would finish her busy schedule and wait for you to hold a concert and invite him to be a guest. But Pei Jingshu was so determined that she would never give in on this matter. In the past, Pei Jingshu was very obedient and would do whatever her sister asked her to do, but since she got involved with Gu Huiyan, she often contradicted Pei Ya, and she would do whatever she said regarding matters related to Gu Huiyan. This makes Pei Ya really unable to accept it. Why do you think she hates Gu Huiyan so much? Pei Jingshu's attitude is also on the one hand. He. Zhang Dan on the other side was quite satisfied with Pei Jingshu's attitude. She eavesdropped for a while, and seeing that it was really a stalemate, she went over to talk to Pei Ya and said that she could also have a relationship with Time Singer communicate there. Zhang Dan is nicknamed the godmother of the draft because she comes from the earliest draft era. If you say she doesn't have any connections in the entertainment industry, it's definitely impossible. Yes, there may be some behind-the-scenes capital who feel that Gu Huiyan has touched their cake and want to block Gu Huiyan. But unfortunately, Gu Huiyan's boss is not a vegetarian. She is also a type of capital. As long as Pei Jingshu insists, and she has a good relationship here, the problem of Gu Huiyan's assistant performance is actually not that big. And this supporting performance, Zhang Dan will definitely regard it as a turnaround for Gu Huiyan. Yes. Our little Gu is a village spirit, and some people accuse him of being uneducated, rude, and disrespectful. But have you ever seen anyone attack Gu Huiyan's works? Even the hot searches on the internet that have been fermenting for 2 or 3 days are just targeted attacks. Do they not want to attack? No, it's because they knew that if they brought this thing up to make trouble, it would probably not be to attack Gu Huiyan, but to clear his name. Gu Huiyan doesn't need to refute topics such as education, politeness, and respect for people. As long as he shows his works and stage, he will remain popular as he should. Except this. There is another highlight worth mentioning. That is, Gu Huiyan has always appeared in front of the audience in a pair of big pants and flip-flops, looking carefree. Gu Huiyan himself is not a bad-looking person. Although he was tanned by Yunnan's ultraviolet rays recently because he didn't use sunscreen while recording a show, he is still a decent young man. Go to the formal stage, dress up, put on makeup and hair, rent a few sets of expensive and classy clothes, and have a very exquisite appearance. Just look at the contrast and what the on-site effect will be like. Don't they all say that our little Gu is homely? Then show them nobility. In addition, singing on the same stage as Pei Jingshu, both of them are powerful singers. If they sing on the same stage, the program will be very effective. If Gu Huiyan is sensible and writes a song about spreading dog food, and the two of them interact on stage, it will bring out the enthusiasm of Pei Ban takes care of CP. Just thinking about this, Zhang Dan had already imagined how well Gu Huiyan could fight in this turnaround. Next, let's see how Gu Huiyan's performance turned out. Let's see if he can use his talent to defeat Capital in this incident.